6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. GMT. Mpɔtam morning show, building communities together with you. Mpɔtam morning show with PAPALAW Perfect, Mondays to Fridays, 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. GMT. Mpɔtam morning show, building communities together with you. Mpɔtam morning show with PAPALAW Perfect, Mondays to Fridays, 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. GMT. Mpɔtam morning show, building communities together with you. Swabadu Sabdokataya, Red Makatonda Yataya, Rubado Gagabas. No weapon fashioned against us shall prosper. Lord, I thank you for the power of resurrection that is at work in my life and situation for a sustained breakthrough. In the name of Jesus, I ask for a deployment of the power of the Holy Spirit into your finances for notable and sustainable breakthrough. In the name of Jesus, I breathe on you the Spirit of God upon your life, upon your finances, upon your business. May the power of God come afresh upon you. I curse, I block, I thwart, I sabotage, I pull down, I throw down every force of darkness contending with you. Let that power bow in the name of Jesus. For this is the day the Lord has made. May you rejoice and be glad in it. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. In his presence there is fullness of joy. At his right hand there are pleasures forevermore. By strength shall no man prevail. With God on your side, you are powerful than the powerful, stronger than the strongest. In the name of Jesus, when God is on your side, power is on your side, favor is on your side, glory is on your side. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than of the former. I pray for you. May the finger of God come afresh upon you. May you be lifted. May you be elevated. May God grant you favor in every sphere of your life. In the name of Jesus, may God elevate you. May your going out be blessed. May your coming in be blessed. Wherever the sole of your feet shall tread upon, may you possess the place. I pray that any witchcraft coven plotting and scheming, planning and plotting against your destiny, let every force of darkness backfire by fire, backfire by fire. Break every conspiracy. Break in the name of Jesus. Break is your word, not like hammer breaking rocks into pieces. I block, I break, I pull down, I throw down every works of the devil. I cover you in the blood. May the finger of God come afresh upon you. May God order your steps into all righteousness. May you be elevated. May you be favored. May God bless you with marriage, bless you with finances, bless you with wealth and riches. Rabadusa tokataya. Makatonda yataya. Rabadosata. Let victory be your portion. Upon Mount Zion there shall be deliverance, and the house of glory success, and the house of Holy of Holies, and the house of God shall be victorious. You are covered in the blood. You are favored. May you be lifted. May you rise and never come down. May God arise and let your enemies be scattered. You are covered in the blood. May you be elevated. May God cover you in the blood. By the efficacy of the blood, let every mountain crumble. Let every valley be filled. Let every crooked ways be made straight. I cover you in the blood. May God keep you safe. I pray for the church of God. I pray for the world. I pray for businesses. I pray for your career. I pray for your children. I pray for your child. I pray for your husband, your wife, your fiancé, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your helpers. I pray and prophesy. May your destiny helpers locate you right now. Break every force of darkness. May you be blessed. May you be lifted. Be blessed. Be lifted. Be exalted. You are covered in the blood. You are blessed and highly favored. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Swabadu Sabdokataya. Right Makatonda Yataya. Rubando Gagaba. No weapon fashioned against us shall prosper. Lord, I thank you for the power of resurrection that is at work in my life and situation for a sustained breakthrough. In the name of Jesus, I ask for a deployment of the power of the Holy Spirit into your finances for notable and sustainable breakthrough. In the name of Jesus, I breathe on you the Spirit of God upon your life, upon your finances, upon your business. May the power of God come afresh upon you. I curse, I block, I thwart, I sabotage, I pull down, I throw down every force of darkness contending with you. Let that power bow in the name of Jesus. For this is the day the Lord has made. May you rejoice and be glad in it. I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. In his presence there is fullness of joy. At his right hand there are pleasures forevermore. By strength shall no man prevail. With God on your side, you are powerful than the powerful, stronger than the strongest. In the name of Jesus, when God is on your side, power is on your side, favor is on your side, glory is on your side. The glory of this latter house shall be greater than of the former. I pray for you. May the finger of God come afresh upon you. May you be lifted. May you be elevated. May God grant you favor in every sphere of your life. In the name of Jesus, may God elevate you. May your going out be blessed. May your coming in be blessed. Wherever the sole of your feet shall tread upon, may you possess the place. I pray that any witchcraft coven plotting and scheming, planning and plotting against your destiny, let every force of darkness backfire by fire, backfire by fire. Break every conspiracy. Break in the name of Jesus. Break is your word, not like hammer breaking rocks into pieces. I block, I break, I pull down, I throw down every works of the devil. I cover you in the blood. May the finger of God come afresh upon you. May God order your steps into all righteousness. May you be elevated. May you be favored. May God bless you with marriage, bless you with finances, bless you with wealth and riches. Rabadusa tokataya. Makatonda yataya. Rabadosata. Let victory be your portion. Upon Mount Zion, there shall be deliverance. And the house of glory success, and the house of Holy of Holies, and the house of God shall be victorious. You are covered in the blood. You are favored. May you be lifted. May you rise and never come down. May God arise and let your enemies be scattered. You are covered in the blood. May you be elevated. May God cover you in the blood. By the efficacy of the blood, let every mountain crumble. Let every valley be filled. Let every crooked ways be made straight. I cover you in the blood. May God keep you safe. I pray for the church of God. I pray for the world. I pray for businesses. I pray for your career. I pray for your children. I pray for your child. I pray for your husband, your wife, your fiance, your fiancé, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your helpers. I pray and prophesy. May your destiny helpers locate you right now. Break every force of darkness. May you be blessed. May you be lifted. Be blessed. Be lifted. Be exalted. You are covered in the blood. You are blessed and highly favored. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. It's a blessed morning. We're streaming live on www.modernghana.com, onlineradiobox.com. Welcome on board to your favorite morning show. Mpɔtam. How clean is your community? How you enjoying your community? Have you swept your compound? Have you cleared the weeds? Cleared your gutters? How clean is your community this morning? What's happening? Any news in your community? Let us know. The good, the bad, the ugly. The show is proudly sponsored by Homie's Restaurant and Pub, Nana One Shoes, PAPALAW Fabs, Lotilo Balloon Decor. I'm going for a quick break, and when I'm back, we'll do more. 45 minutes on top of the hour, 6 a.m. GMT in the studios of PAPALAW Radio, streaming live on www.modernghana.com, onlineradiobox.com. I want you to hit the share button, share the broadcast. Let's do this together. Somebody needs to enjoy today's broadcast, and I want you to be rest assured that we're going to inform you, not deform you. We're going to educate you, and above all, we'll entertain you. What a blessed morning. What a God we serve. I saw the battery who be dreaming. Good bees don't rattle. This is PAPALAW Radio. We're streaming live on www.modernghana.com, onlineradiobox.com. I want you to hit the share button. I I'm interested in sharing. Sharing, they say, is caring. Don't be selfish. Hit the share button and let's do this together. Welcome on board. It's Mpɔtam morning show. I already told you that we have a lot for you today. We'll have the health segment. Mr. John Appiah will also come your way and educate you in the way I like this topic. How to deal with difficult bosses. I hope I'm not one of those. So Mr. John Appiah will be touching more on this. He will educate us, inform us. And then the politicians will take the center stage and do their own thing. We can't do politics without the political animals. We have a lot in the dailies. We have the headlines and the newspaper review segment. So stick and stay right here. The best is yet to come. I'll be sharing with you the weather forecast for today. I came, I saw, and I conquered. Shot fired, fingers crossed. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from every evil. For thine is thy kingdom, the power and the glory forever and ever. Alright, so Homies Restaurant and Pub, they are located at Tema Community 9, directly opposite the driving school near the washing bay. They have different kinds of foods and assorted drinks. Fufu with all kinds of soup, bangu and okro, or tilapia, and pesi with kontomire or garden egg stew, a bunebunu, bush meat, jollof rice and fried rice, wache and assorted drink. They also serve you with delicious breakfast. I just went for my breakfast. They operate from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. As early as 6 a.m. and as late as 11 p.m. They work from Monday through Sunday. Monday through Sunday. Amazing. Contact Homies Restaurant and Pub on 0244-887349, 0244-887349, or 0269-314725, 0269-314725. Homies Restaurant and Pub. We serve you with the best. When you come to balloon decor and wrapping of your engagement stuff, your birthday stuff, your naming ceremony stuff, and your birthday party stuff, the only place to go is Lottie Law Balloon Decor. Lottie Law Balloon Decor is located at Community 1, directly opposite Zenith Bank, TMA branch. Contact Lottie Law 0542371320. 0542371320. Lottie Law Balloon Decor. Beauty is a hallmark. Now when you come to photography, the only place to go is Shabak Photography. Shabak Photography is into all kinds of photography, passport size photograph, photo shoot for event, your wedding, your engagement, your birthday party, and your naming ceremony. Contact Shabak Photography on 0244671593, 0244671593. Shabak Photography is located at Community 11, adjacent the Presbyterian University. Now when it comes to shoes, belt and bags, the only place to go is Nana One Shoes. Nana One Shoes is into sales of all kinds of shoes for kids and adult. Contact Nana One Shoes on 0256-836112, 0256-836112. Nana One Shoes, quality is their hallmark. 50 minutes on top of the hour, 6 a.m. GMT in the studios of PAPALAW Radio. We're streaming live on www.mountainghana.com, online radiobox.com. Welcome on board. It's time for your favorite morning show produced by Jude GH. I'll be doing this with my co-host David Santos, the Gentle General. Alright, so stick and stay right here. I'm going for a quick break. When I'm back, we'll do more. Mpɔtam morning show with PAPALAW Perfect. I'm
Yamiro ime frimo. Yesu fidye man. Yetwama na man. Yekantana kumbe so se. Yemi ye dawa brabo imu. So where na yare.
July 19th, 2023, the year of our Lord. Wednesday edition of Mpɔtam Morning Show. Now the weather forecast for today. Cloudy weather is expected this morning over most parts of the country with pockets of rain. Brighter conditions will follow later. Late afternoon to evening thunderstorms are anticipated for the middle and northern sectors, tells Ghana Meteorological Agency GMET. Good stories are always repeated, like I always say. Cloudy weather is expected this morning over most parts of the country with pockets of rain. Brighter conditions will follow later. Late afternoon to evening thunderstorms are anticipated for the middle and northern sectors, tells Ghana Meteorological Agency GMET. Now the headlines for today, news that are making headlines in our various newspapers and news portals. Former President Akufo is alive and well. Senior aide, ex-trader, Ghana employee having anxiety attacks. The Ghanaians will say Twitter. The Americans will say Twitter. All right, so Paris 2024 kill. Black Queens through to next round after a 7-0 aggregate win over Guinea. At least the ladies are giving us a good time in Ghana. They are maintaining our mental health when it comes to Ghana football. At least the ladies are winning for us. Thank you. You guys have done well. My cooking video saved someone's marriage. Sweet Ajele. Yate why? Kuna ni meduane ye wo Ghana. Yate. I don't know. I would just get mad. 50 Cent reflect on early career beefs. 50 Cent, I don't know. He's been shot many times but still alive. I don't know why I would just get mad. 50 Cent reflect on early career beefs. Ghana for the affair no matter to beef and affair no Matthias. A new Vanco beckons. Government seeks strategic investor to galvanize integrated aluminium industry. This is one of the companies government is leasing out. One of the state-owned enterprises. Floods of trauma. Ashanti Regional Fire Service rescues 280 people in 1 month. Tamale North MP chastised for leaking committee discussion on land gas. We will reject those who insult on their campaigns. Savannah MPP chair tells presidential aspirant. I like that. 50% of debt owed food suppliers settled. Brian Champon, a great minister. He left me 2 weeks after a wedding. Woman seeks divorce after 5 years. Now I am by force. I am ready. 2 weeks with job bow. A day, worry ya wejano. All right, enough with the insult. Judy Austin tells critics of her relationship with Yul Edochie. International friendly Ghana's Black Stars to face Mexico in October. We'll use party dues to pay delegates. Alan Mann reveals how Akumsin exposes NDC presidential candidate over construction of roads. MP backs minorities score for a refund of $2 million Boycotts SkyTrain investment. Stop charging parliamentary aspirant unapproved fees. MPP neck to regional executives. Don't be influenced by political entities to continue picketing. Habib Idrisu to food suppliers. Are not done prayer. Minorities boycott of parliament proceedings disturbing. Bog report governor signals significant revenue loss. Blames domestic debt exchange program. I sacrifice and step down for AKUFO-ADDO in 2007. Alan Chremate. Actor loyalty of KJTR versus Mokola fame opens up about struggle with depression. Some MPs may be secretly backing those in court over anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Kofi Adams. Ghana, Portugal signed defense and economic pact. Minority questions usefulness of OSP. Office of Special Prosecutor demands results. Refurbish in Chroma Park can make over 200,000 Ghana cedis weekly. Okre Kumante. Minority demands contract details between Lance Ministry and INOC Holdings. Gyakye Quayson'S lawyer cross-examines first prosecution witness. Bill to abolish death penalty has AKUFO-ADDO's blessings. Savior Sosu. Cocoa Bill's debt exchange an indication. Government can pay its debt. Joe Jackson claims we use land gas unimaginable. Ghana Armed Forces. UDS lecturers threaten strike over cancellation of some office positions by G-Tech. I have the formula to move Ghana forward. Alan Kojo Chematin. The end of our headlines for today. Going for a break. Stay and stay right here.
Obayan sapusu omunibia wankana asam. Zema futu sam kakre wa supreme. Yo kofi, omani ya woman, omani ya memana. Geni baby ako, wachaza ya wareni. Wonsom, wanini pa, kasa dipa wofioye. Demo yemberaye.
Feminu mienura wonsum yedi nipa na ye obanyansafo ye buni be ye nkana sem David Santos. Good morning.
Good morning, Attorney General.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
How was your night?
Attorney, ladies who call you baby and still ask you for money. So babies have
How
money.
can baby give out money?
It's not possible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I like that quote.
Yes, thank
and they will call you baby, baby. And most of the time they call you baby when they need something.
They need something.
They want to siphon you.
Yes, they have a different hand to rub your head.
That's right.
When their hand is soft, it means that there's something coming.
Alright, so what's happening? Any news in the dailies? Anything you want to talk about before we start with?
Yes, exactly. One thing I don't like about Ghanaians is when they fail to investigate the truth and goes around spreading false news. I don't like that. If you don't have the real evidence, you keep quiet. When you have it, you come out to say it.
The problem with this generation is we don't like to investigate.
Okay.
We always jump into conclusions. Once I hear one side of the story, I must believe. So when you come and you want to share, the second person want to share his or her side of the story, you are seen as the bad person. It will take a lot of grace to defend yourself. So sometimes I always say that sometimes it's difficult to defend the indefensible. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And in Africa, once you share your story first, you are seen as the angel.
Yes. Meanwhile, if you go in deeply, it's
so,
not like
so
that.
if you watch, many a times you have to do everything possible to defend what people have already said ahead. It's very difficult. That's how come a lot of people's images have been damaged, soiled so badly in this country. Because part of Africa, this is the way to go.
So I think what I'm just trying to drive out is that people are on social media saying that the former president
is dead.
How can you do that?
The man is alive. Why? I don't know if sometimes they want somebody to die and then they get something out of it. I
don't know people's problem.
That's a typical Ghanaian.
Where they will go and eat food.
No, what will you get or gain if former president John Ajay is dead?
Happy is national cake, so everybody is going there to eat free food.
That's an African for you. We believe that if it's not about us, it shouldn't be anybody. Anyway, let's go straight into our daily paper. You know, today we have a lot to do. We'll have the health segment, the educational segment. Dr. John Appiah, Mr. John Appiah, the president for African Chamber for Youth Development and the CEO of ALE Consult will be here to educate us on how to handle difficult bosses, which I'm not one of those. How to handle difficult bosses. So we'll be sharing that with our listeners and viewers. Yes, very, very interesting topic. And then we'll have the health segment. It's a long time we had our radio pastor, Dr. Brefua Paul Leslie, coming on radio to educate us on some of these diseases and how to take good care of ourselves. In fact, taking care of ourselves, God has left everything in your care or in your hands. God protects us spiritually, but you must protect yourself physically. So I think it's a good time for doctor to come on radio to educate us, and then as usual the politicians will take the center stage and do their own thing. You know what time it is. All right, so let's go straight into today's dailies.
All right, so it's time for our newspaper review segment. David Santos is here to do this with me. All right, so take the junior graphic. It's a long time I saw junior graphic. That's very true. That's very, very true.
I've been enjoying it.
So today on the front page of Junior Graphic, we have only one story that goes for each and every day. It says, "Don't sell it. Don't send children to buy, sell tobacco. FDA caution parents and adults."
You know why I'm laughing?
Why?
One of my uncle used to send me, go and buy tobacco.
I mean, you don't know.
Cigarette, you buy it. He said, hide it. Well, don't let grandma and grandpa and anybody see. Come and give it to me quietly, Nicodemously.
But I think it's true.
Yeah.
Because
they've been destroying the
even me,
destinies.
yes.
Yeah, once you
Also
start buying alcohol for your uncle gradually, after he's done drinking, the little drops, you also be trying. Oh wow, these are akpeteshi look like.
Oh me, I don't do that.
You don't like akpeteshi?
No,
you
I
like
don't do
Guinness?
it. No, I don't like any of them.
Are you sure?
Oh, I tell you.
The pieces of tobacco, cigarette, some of the boys will be trying. Okay, go ahead.
So that is what is on the front page of the junior graphic.
All right. So the daily analyst: we don't engage land guards to protect our lands. Ghana police debunks reports. How could this be? A whole security apparatus of machinery engaging land guards. Anyway, Ghana Armed Forces have also debunked the same, reports. We hope and believe that is true, because in Ghana, behind every rumor here, the white man carved this whole cliche, but I think it fits well in Africa. In Africa, behind every rumor, there's an iota of truth. So who knows? Who knows tomorrow? Interior Minister must act swiftly. Gyakye fires. That is Ghana Journalists Association fires. ADBM MD endorses a Kumfi factory model. Advocate for replication across the country. Vice President Bawumia cuts short for 100-bed hospital at Ejura. I say, so cut in India. Agenda 111.
Yes.
I'm back Katisa.
Send me a policy.
I won't cry at least.
Cutting solution policy.
Ghana, Portugal signed defense and economic pact. All right, so take the informer.
Government pays food supplies promises to settle remaining 50% by August. Boycott of parliament. You are negating democracy. Don Botwe tells minority. And also MPP race. MPP race for NPP standard barrier. It's about ideas, not riches. Bawumia declares. And also towards achieving net zero, Ghana committed to clean energy. Napotes UK Africa Summit. Ministry, military, police deny land guard tag. Then budget $2 million Sky Train project. Gyakye point fingers at GIIF. And so
that's the accusation has started.
Yes.
It's not me. Nobody's taking responsibility.
Yes.
But when it comes to chop,
they
chop together. The only time parliament is sweet, the only time you see the spirit of unity, the spirit of oneness in parliament is when they are talking about their per diems. When they are talking about money, cash, l'argent, egan.
That one, they are one.
They are one. They are from one mother, one father.
I and my father are one.
They are one. All right. So the Daily Post, on the front page of the Daily Post, the same story here about the railways development. Remember, Gyakye at the time was the Minister for Railways Development. Hey, we're creating department, specific department, railway development. I didn't pay $2 million to fund Accra Sky Train project. Ask GIIF. Gyakye. Minority demands refund of $2 million paid for Accra Sky Train projects. Let's go digital. Says Zoom Lion with short code *857#. All right, so take the ABC News.
Okay, so on the front page of the ABC News says government pays food suppliers 100 million Ghana cedis arrears, and then MPP primaries presidential aspirant must tell delegates their vision, not destroying the party. And then also Ghana energy will be anchored on pathway towards Gabon neutrality. Energy minister. And also Mahama begs Haruna Idrisu for support, leave AKUFO-ADDO in the court.
I told you I was looking out for this. I saw this coming. Mahama can never be president when Haruna Idrisu is working against him in the north. He commanded the numbers.
Yes.
He has the clout. He can't just pick phone and call people. Vote for this person. In fact, Suhuyini, this name I always struggle to mention it, but I'll try my Suhuyini. That fine gentleman with red lips. Somebody wanted to contest him during the NDC's primaries, and then Haruna just placed a call to the contender. He said, hey, allow him to go. He has more time. Your time will come.
And no comment.
That's it. He commands the numbers. So if you have fisticuffs with him, issues with him, you need to settle every dichotomy. Make sure you don't have any issue. Else, you're in trouble in the north. All right, so I saw this coming. Metro Lens on the front page. Palgrave Boachi Dankwa nominated for 40 Under 40 Awards 2023. MPP calls for compliance with national directives on parliamentary primaries. Vice President Bawumia sought for 100-bed hospital at Ejura. Zoom Lion goes digital, launches payment platform to improve customer service. I have made the greatest political sacrifice in MPP. Alanche Martin Niamankra Tete appointed as Let She Go, Ghana's country CEO. Take the finder.
Ghana Portugal signed defense and economic pact. Dr. Bawumia sought for 100-bed hospital at Ejura, and also Agenda 111 bricks suppliers cry foul over unilateral substitution of compressed earth bricks with cement blocks. And also Access Bank inquires Standard Chartered in 5 African countries. Dr. Akuto to link agri diversification to economic development. So that is on the front page of the Founder.
Akumadan tomatoes. All right, so on the front page of the Meridian, remove distressing lottery and sports betting taxes. CSBO urges government. I say chacha for any abre papa. Ade mubobiana.
Oh, David.
Mubobida.
Ubisa me asa
ubisa. Chacha no mubobiana.
Onamia ubisa mi dia say.
Ubisa.
There be mimi mbo chacha.
Emrante nti no anom so omuditi ho.
Mimi ni mo be amu company mu a omu bobi. Ba mimi bobi.
Bawumia sought for 100-bed hospital at Ejura. Dispute over incorporation of Stanbic Bank Ghana Limited. Yadom accuses bank of delaying trial. Ghana Portugal signed defense and economic pact. Take the custodian.
On the front page of the custodian, Ghana Portugal signed defense and economic agreement. FEA Akuto speak on agri sector July 21st. And then also Trobu MP Lausgan North New Sisa La Chief. And then also MPPs rank and file decry dirty campaign. And then Bawumia sought for 100-bed Ejura hospital. So these are on the front page of the custodian.
All right, the Chronicle, $60 million 100-bed hospital for Ejura. Beware, your PhD could be fake, as Legon KNUST admit to running unaccredited programs. Africa for the titles. Mepacho Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook for normal. CEO Mepacho Ukra PhD ana.
Debbie.
Mepacho Elon Musk, Twitter CEO. Okay. Add then a title chain impact and a resource. I am go for the title.
Title dear.
Africa.
Yeah.
I remember I was introducing a man of God.
Oh ma.
And I mentioned, let's welcome Reverend so to come and preach.
Oh ma.
He was still sitting down.
Yes.
They called me, Lawrence, I want to see you. I said,
oh, yeah,
yes, sir. He said, at the professor. read all my profile before I come.
Hey!
Else I'm not preaching.
Hey!
Professor. So I took time. I said, everybody, please sit down. Sorry. Let's clap our hands and celebrate God. When we're done, I started reading. Since I came into the studio, I was still reading his profile.
Hey!
African titles. All right, confidence trickster dupes military lady of 295,000 Ghana cedis. Military. They almost the party. They are shama. They are the beche. Okay, shama for money. I'm praying so be the movie, but shama money.
Obama is a member.
Alright, Beju Bonsway. Family denies installment of new Ahanta Hine. Take the new crusading guide.
Obi Aponsan condemned acrimony among aspirant Minister Slam Kennedy Japan tells him to stop acting greedy. Baumiaka sold for 100 bed Edra Hospital. And then Dr. Efi Akuto speak on a Greek diversification. Friday, Ghana, Portugal deepening bilateral relations. And then also ADBMD endorses a Kumfi factory model.
All right. So the Ghanaian Times commit more funds at local level. Dr. Gyakye Quayson'S 17th National COVID-19 Vaccination Days campaign begins today. Provide tax incentives to private sector to create jobs. Professor Bawa. New salary structure allowances for JUSA. Lower bench table effects. Take the Okunini daily graphic and then we'll call it a moment.
All right. So on the front page of the daily graphic it says support our quest to transform economy. President AKUFO-ADDO to Portugal, and also Access Bank PIS Standard Chartered Bank signed acquisition deal. Parks and Gardens cry for swift help. 90% workforce near retirement. University of Ghana KNUST run unapproved courses. Authorities move to rectify normality, and then government approved new salary structure for JOSAC. So these are on the front page of the daily graphic.
Thank you, David Santos. All right, so we'll go for a quick break. When we are back, we'll do more. Mpɔtam Morning Show with PAPALAW Perfect. We're streaming live on www.mortingghana.com, online radiobox.com. I came, I saw, and I conquered. Here, we inform, we educate, and above all, we entertain.
Baby, baby,
Don't mind being here for me, 20 minutes on top of the about 7 a.m. GMT in the studios of PAPALAW Radio. We're streaming live on www.mortingghana.com, online radiobox.com. It's time to be educated, and your education will be done through this great vessel, a man I revere and respect so much. I honor him greatly. He's a great teacher of our time. He's the best CEO so far. and he's been raising a lot of the youth, developing them to become better people for today and for tomorrow and generations to come. Your Excellency, Mr. John Appiah, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you doing, and how are your people as well?
I'm bouncing where everybody is doing well.
Great.
We miss you. It's been a while.
Yes, so our work sometimes we go off the radar a bit, and then we'll come back.
So how's work?
Yes, work is moving on very well. For some of us, our faith is an integral part of the work we do. So we live by faith and not just by what we see or not just by what the economy is telling us. So we are pushing very hard, doing the best we can every moment in time to ensure that we bring value to the people we serve, and then also we're able to take care of the families attached to us. Morning.
Amazing. So so far, youth development in Ghana, Africa, and the world, how is it going?
It's still an ongoing process. Every single day adds to it. Every single day makes it better. We'll continue to push because the future is in the youth, and the earlier and the better we are able to give the support and the foundation needed, the better to be for all of us. So we're still on it, and we'll continue to push.
Certainly. By God's grace, we shall surely get there. There's always light at the back of the tunnel. Today we discuss a very controversial topic, and I suppose and believe that I'm not one of the most terrible, bad, and difficult bosses.
That one, we have to do a survey in the office, and then
a proper survey
applied. People, because this one is really posted.
I'm just being smart. I just being smart on this one. But it's a very, very important subject. You hear a lot of people come back and tell you, I have the job. I've landed myself a very lucrative job, but my boss is the problem. She's difficult, he's difficult, and all that. Who are difficult, terrible, bad bosses?
Okay, so you've made a very good promise, but I should also say in every form of the word that when it comes to evaluating who a bad boss is, usually the bosses themselves never admit that they are bad, or they are terrible, or they are difficult. So that's the first thing.
Hey, this innuendos in the air.
You attempt to draw their attention to some of their flaws or their difficulties. They appear to be adamant. But that's the first thing for people to understand. Just a very few of them will understand or admit that they are bad. Because the moment you admit you're a terrible, difficult boss, it creates the way or the pathway for you to reform and to be a better boss. And the truth of the matter too is that for everybody who works, typically if you are at the entry level or at the mid level, you're obviously going to work under supervision. You're going to work directly under supervision. Or there is somebody who will be above you who will sort of manage what you are doing. Even for those who rise up to the C-suite level, in every organization there is a board, and the board usually is the highest decision-making body in that organization. So you will continue to have bosses, even if you are a CEO and you own your own business and all that. At the point, your shareholders and even the board you put in place to manage and help you take care of issues of corporate governance will have a form of supervisory role over you. So everybody will encounter a bad boss along the way, one way or the other. And there are varying grades and types of bad bosses, and as we go along, we'll get to talk about it. But the point is that for any supervisor or for any boss who doesn't give you that kind of room that allows you to operate optimally without any negative interferences or any impediments or obstructions, can be classified as a terrible boss or a difficult boss or a bad boss. Usually when you say the terrible, people don't like it. When you say the bad, people see it as derogatory. So we say that they are difficult bosses, that they are not all, they are not the very best of people to work with because of the various characteristics and traits that these people manifest that makes it show that these people are difficult to work with. So for example, most of these difficult bosses are very controlling. They actually prove and show that they are in control. It is you who is serving them, and that what they say is what you're supposed to do. So those kinds of traits, you
don't have the right to even question the
it's like authority before command. Do you get the point? And what they say is what you're supposed to do. Then there are others who show extreme favoritism. So you may not be just the only person reporting to your supervisor, but it appears that there are some of the people who you work with on the same level who are reporting to this difficult boss or supervisor. But it appears that the boss or the supervisor is showing extreme favoritism towards a particular person due to one reason or the other, which you don't even have an idea of. And all these things sometimes are manifestations of very difficult bosses. And then there are some of them too, they don't clearly communicate the expectations. They tell you, for example, we need water in the office, but they don't specify what exactly they mean by water. Water to wash our hands, water to drink, even if it's water to drink, what kind of water to drink, even if you know the kind of water to drink, what kind of quantities are we looking at? So imagine you have a boss who's very elusive in terms of the directions and the communication, then it is always giving you a form of headache, because you're always thinking about how to go around it and then all that. And that can also, make a person become a very difficult boss. Some of them also act very unprofessionally. You get the point. They don't treat you like you're a professional, and they themselves do not handle themselves professionally. So maybe the words they use, the manner they conduct themselves, the way they dress to the office, and how they talk and speak and eat in the office and all those other things. Sometimes it is a manifestation or the expression of a very difficult boss. Some of them even don't know what is delegation. They want to do the work all themselves, or they dump all the work on you at the expense of the other people who are working with you, are capable of doing it. Some of them cannot even complete their own work, and though you've been employed to do a specific thing, you are constantly in his or her office doing what he or she wants that will help him or her look good. And then sometimes even if there are team meetings, you're unable to even lead those meetings, and the meetings turn into chaos and confusion. All these things can be manifestations or attributes of a very difficult boss. So we need to understand the attributes in the first place to allow us to be able to know that, yes, who it is you are up to or working with may not be the very best of bosses, but at the end of the conversation, we'll look at how best to be able to deal with it. So in summary, difficult bosses, have exhibited or exhibit the traits that I have already said. And it's important to say that not all of them may manifest all of these traits, but where there are 2, 3, 4 or more of these traits expressively manifesting, then it shows you that this person is a difficult boss. Some are confrontational, some are just unkind, some are just unaccommodating, and some of them are not even motivated to even work.
So why are there so many bad bosses than the good ones?
So I will attempt to hazard an answer to this question, but like I always tell you, I'm not the repository of all knowledge and wisdom, but from at least the experience I've had and the exposure I've had, I will be able to, as it were, postulate a number of reasons why we have a lot of difficult bosses in the system. The very first thing I'll talk about is the fact that sometimes their selection into the office of a boss or a supervisor can be problematic. So if the company doesn't have any well laid down structure that is able to identify who a good leader is, and therefore is able to help the person enter into a leadership role or managerial role or supervisory role, then it means that all the people that will be promoted or put into supervisory or managerial roles may be people that may not be competent enough to be able to do the job. You see, sometimes there's a mistake most organizations make. They think that by virtue of seniority or performance, the person has what it takes to become a leader, and that's a bit problematic. So most of the time they are promoting those who are the member hatchet.
They just boss around.
Exactly. They are promoting those who appear to achieve a lot of results and all that. But there's a clear-cut difference between who a good manager is and then who an average manager is. Somebody can achieve very good, brilliant results, but may not be a very good manager. I don't want to be political, but if you look through the history of Ghana from 1957, we may have had presidents who were extremely competent in their personal endeavors they were doing and the businesses they were involved in and all that. But the moment they take the helm of affairs, managing the country, and I realize that they are poor leaders, very bad, terrible, difficult bosses. And I'm not mentioning any names. We are getting to 2024. I don't want problems. I don't want my business to be affected. I don't want your radio station to be targeted.
I know you don't want to dabble into these days.
But I'm just trying to draw the attention to the
fact you're right.
Organizations make a mistake and think that because the person is a high performer or the person has been there for a long while, the person deserves to be promoted, and that creates a problem. So that's one, poor selection of leaders or managers. 2, sometimes lack of training. So the person may have the potential, But once you're elevated into leadership, there's a particular mindset you need, there's a particular skill set you need, which you need to be trained on. You need to be given that exposure and that experience to allow you to cultivate these skills and mindsets that will allow you to be an excellent leader or a good supervisor. So sometimes the right people may be put in the right places, but for the lack of these skills, so it doesn't come naturally. You have to learn it. And that's why we as the Elite Consult, we are working very hard to get businesses to bring us into the picture to help them do some of these things. But the typical average, business in Ghana, maybe in Africa, doesn't care about some of these things. They just think about the bottom line, what will bring money to me. I happen to be consulting for a number of organizations. One of the organizations I consult for, I had a call from one of their leaders. I was like, Charlie, since you came on board, we have not seen any money. And I'm like, money doesn't just come like that. There are structures you need to put in place. And sometimes people make the mistake and think that once you hire a consultant, your problems are solved. The consultant is just to help you. The consultant is just to make suggestions to you. The consultant is to show you the direction. But it is your decision to go that way or not to go that way. All right, but that is another conversation we'll have another day. But the point I'm driving at is that sometimes the right leaders may be in place, but they lack the training. And once there's no training and development from them, they may not be able to excel. The third reason why I think that there are bad or difficult bosses in so many places, the fact that sometimes there's the adherence to what I call the outdated management practices. Since the 18th century to the 21st century, there's been a lot of dynamics that has brought a lot of changes into the way leaders manage and the way leaders lead. All right, but it's just unfortunate that some organizations are stuck to the very old conventional ways of doing things, and that is affecting the quality of bosses or managers or supervisors that they have. There are about three main types of leadership-driven management practices, which is classified as outdated, at least for my opinion. So, for example, the concept of micromanaging. It is not always an effective strategy. There are people that will micromanage you to the point that even they will tell you what kind of font size to use. They will tell you the kind of spacing they want to see in the messages or the documents you prepare for them. They even try to help you, tell you what diction to use, what words to use and all that. That kind of micromanaging doesn't help anybody because whoever is micromanaging you, it means he's not having enough time to do what he or she is supposed to do. Or the person has so much time on his own hands that they don't know what to do with the time. So those that adhere to things like micromanaging, it can become a very difficult or a very bad management practice that would definitely make the person practicing that kind of management become a bad manager or a bad leader or a bad supervisor. So that has to be kept in mind. Then there's also something we call the mushroom management. And under the mushroom management, you lump everybody together and then you just don't give clear directions. You just talk once and then you allow that to go. Some people tell me that they are like the radio. They speak once, they don't repeat.
No, sir.
But how can you continue to operate that kind of leadership? You say something and your subordinate can say, please, can you say that again? And your comment is that, I'm like a radio station. When I speak once, I don't speak again. Can you imagine?
I like this one. You're like a radio station.
Exactly. 21st century, people do things like that. Even in radio, sometimes auto-repeat. They repeat things. Sometimes
what I'm doing, the weather forecast, I repeat it. Good stories are always repeated.
That's the thing. And in communication, we say that when the thing hits well, you say it again.
That's right.
You get the point. So that kind of mushroom management that is enshrouded with a lot of secrecy and a lot of some way kind of dealings, it doesn't help at all. Then there's also another type of leadership strategy, which is the punitive management. And those ones are just thinking about punishment. If the person comes late, you are quick to punish or sanction. But if the person comes early, there is no form of motivation. So remember that sometimes you need to use the carrot and the stick approach. There are times you need to motivate using the carrot. There are times you need to reprimand using the stick. So you need a fair blend of the carrot and the stick to allow you sometimes to be able to make the right decisions and to be able to manage the people very well. And then the fourth thing is that sometimes some leaders or bosses or supervisors are just self-centered. They are just thinking about themselves, their goals, their rewards, their ambitions, and they are using everybody they can take advantage of to help them progress in that particular direction. So those kind of bosses obviously are bad bosses, or they are very difficult people because they don't care about you. They are not interested in your success. They are just interested in their success. So everything they need to do to ensure they use you as base or use you as the conduit to achieve what it is they want to do, that's what they do. And the last thing that maybe I'll talk about is that there are some of the managers too who are just thinking about profit. And I keep telling people that if you are just fixated on profit, you may not be able to make any progress. So, for example, the person that called me to say that, oh, Tom, you've been here for a while, but we're not seeing them.
That's right.
I'm like, don't look at the money first, look at the people, because
the structures
people that will help you to produce the profits. So if you are not concentrating on creating the right environment and doing the right thing, then obviously the money will not come, no matter what it is that you do. All right. So sometimes it is important for people to shift their attention from profit and focus on the structures, focus on the people, focus on the strategies, and then that will obviously and definitely lead to the profit. Because if you're working with somebody who's unhappy and excited and contented, then the person can do anything anyhow just to make sure that he is also free or she is free to do other things. So we need to pay attention to that. And then I need to also say every manager has to be managed. Very important. Every manager has to be managed, because in a situation where managers are left to do anything they like, they don't report to anybody, they don't do any appraisal to anybody, they are tempted to just misbehave and do things anyway anyhow. So I believe that these things are spoken about, if not practiced by organizations, will breed very poor managers, very bad supervisors, very difficult bosses.
So is there a situation where, or is there any way that bad bosses can impact the workplace?
Yes, my brother, in several significant ways. I don't know about you, but I have been in a situation where sometimes I didn't want to go to work.
Yeah.
Because I know that my boss is extremely terrible.
That's right.
You know, sometimes when we hear the car come to park, then all of us are just shaking and
That's
shaking.
right.
You know, we are grown-up people with master's degree and with degrees, but actually our boss is killing us. You
That's
know,
right.
so I think that the number one impact that difficult or bad bosses have on the business is the low employee morale. The morale is extremely low. If you work in any organization and the day your boss doesn't come, people get up to clap. That means that the human NTB. Because imagine one day you send a text message or put on WhatsApp platform, oh, PAPALAW is not feeling well today, it's not coming to work. There are people are saying, yeah, we serve a living God. I mean, like, it's serious.
That's right.
It's like those days when we're in school, if teachers don't come and they're a holiday, teacher,
You are not
and we
missed.
are happy. You know, so I think that low morale can be one of the things that a very bad boss or poor boss can have on the people working with them. Then also there's a very high employee turnover. The person comes to work in about 3 months, the person has resigned. The person starts the work, and by the time he's done with probation or she's done with probation, the person has left. So that's also very important. And business managers and owners should take note of some of these things so that it will motivate them to be able to put the right people in the right places and give them the training they need to be able to manage well and lead well. Because where they are bad leaders or difficult leaders or bad bosses, it affects the bottom line of the organization. So one, there's very low employee morale. Two, there's a very high employee turnover rate. And number three, there's also less productivity. Because people are not motivated enough to work. People are not being rewarded for the work they inspired. So then the productivity level is very low. The person can do 10, but he will just do 4 or 5. Because there's no motivation, there's no engagement, there's no reward structure that sort of keep people on their toes to be able to do work and do it very, very well. So less productivity or lower productivity can also manifest as a result of very bad or very difficult bosses. And then also there's a greater risk of legal liability for the organization. Because if you have a boss who's slapping people, who's sleeping around with people and raping people and all that, any legal suit can be brought against the organization and the whole organization can go down. Do you get the point? So people need to understand there's that greater risk of legal liability when you are maltreating the people you are working with. You are not working with any law or any legal thing. You are just misbehaving and doing what you want to do because you feel like it is you. So somebody comes to work and say, I have sacked you. No basis for sacking the person. Nothing. No compensation. No. Just bad. At the end of the day, there's a greater risk of legal liability coming on that organization as a result of a very bad or difficult boss. And then finally to the company image. Because you see, former employees will continue to speak about their experiences negatively in a way that can continue to affect that image that the company has in the eyes of the public. So it's very important. If you don't treat your people well, if you have difficult bosses in place all the time, what happens is that the company has a very poor image. So it affects potential employees Nobody wants to work with your organization. Even the people you are doing business with or the clients that you have, at a point they are also fed up, because sometimes the people do business with you not because of just your business, but because of the people you are working with. That's why sometimes when some people go to certain organizations, they ask, is Sarah at work today? Is John at work today? They want to work or deal directly with that person. So when they hear that, oh, John has left the job, they have a way of finding out from John, why did you leave the job? Oh, it's a terrible boss, or I had a very bad boss, and that has resulted in that particular situation. So obviously that's another thing that business owners need to pay attention to. The poor company image can also affect the bottom line at the end of the day. So these are some of the reasons why it's important to deal with the issue of difficult bosses.
All right, so can you enumerate some types of bad bosses?
So typically, there are those who have very poor leadership skills. It is so obvious. If you work with somebody who's a poor leader, it is very evident in the person's choices and decisions and actions. So that's one way that sometimes it manifests. And then sometimes there are certain supervisors or bosses who want to work alone. They always want to work in isolation. They don't understand the power of teamwork, and it's all about them and them and them only. That can also be another example or manifestation of a very difficult or very bad boss. Then there are also bosses who are also very disrespectful. What it means is that they don't give due cognizance or recognition to the people they work with. It is only their opinions that matter. They don't listen to anybody at work, and all those issues can compound, and that can create a very bad impression on the people you work with. So bosses who are disrespectful, it's very unfortunate if you work in a situation where you have a disrespectful boss. In spite of your hard work and everything you do, the person simply disrespects you and then just moves on. It's not very helpful at all. And then also, like I said, there are some bosses too who are not helpful. They will not in any way support you. They are the kind of bosses that will sit in the office, put their legs on their table and be watching DSTV at the expense of actually going to the ground to work. And that can be very problematic. I used to work with a radio host who was very helpful and supportive. Even though he was the host of the show, he's involved in production, he's able to go on site to do interviews, he's suggesting ideas, doing production meeting and all that. I've also worked with a radio presenter who is just terrible. He doesn't contribute to any discussion. He will just be there and be waiting for information to be fed to him. And when he comes in the morning, he tells you what's going on, what are we going to do and all that. And that morning that you have plotted and planned something for production, he comes to essentially throw everything out of the window. So bosses who are not helpful, who don't go on the ground to actually do the kind of work his people or her people are doing, can also manifest or show off as a very bad boss. So in my opinion, from the experiences I've had, these are some of the types of difficult bosses that you may encounter.
Wow. Finally, how do you handle bad bosses? Very important. Once we've been able to enumerate the problems or the challenges, now let's find solutions to them. So how do we handle some of these bad bosses?
Very good. And like I indicated in the first part of the interview, not all difficult bosses accept that they are difficult bosses. Not all of them admit or allude to the fact that they are difficult bosses. So if you happen to work with somebody like that who is not admitting or who has not yet come to terms with the fact that he or she is being a difficult boss, it's extremely difficult to work in such a scenario or to work in such a situation. So what it is that for those people who are adamant, who have closed their eyes to reality, and they have said to themselves that they are not going to in any way seek ways of improving the way they do things, it is going to be difficult working with people like that. But for those that have admitted one way or the other, or who are able to listen to the people that talk to them, so be them supervisors or even their subordinates, then there's a big window of hope for people like that to be able to do something significant with the situation and make it better. So I would want to focus on the person who is the employee, not the supervisor of the boss, because then that's a different conversation. But we're looking at you who happen to be in a situation where you have a difficult or you have a terrible boss, because that's what you are able to control. your reactions, your actions are the things that you have control over, and therefore you are able to look at that. So that is what I will focus on. So in all of this, you need to consider your own emotional and mental health. Remember last week we spoke about the power of mental health and why it's important for people to do that. So you need to keep in mind your sanity, your career growth, and of course your peace of mind. Very important. So in so doing, there are certain things that you definitely shouldn't do. One, you shouldn't expect to change if you don't have that difficult conversation with your boss or your supervisor. You see, there are times you have to make time to engage with your difficult supervisor and explain to him or her from where you're coming from. It's a difficult conversation to have. People will try to avoid it, but I tell people that, especially where there's an appraisal system in place, where every quarter you sit down with your boss to have conversations on your work performance, your key performance indicators and all that. That is a very good platform to also give feedback to your difficult boss that, oh, maybe because of this or that, or this particular attitude you exhibit or particular actions you do, it negatively impacts the work that we are doing. So sometimes you need to have that very difficult conversation. It's not an easy conversation to have, and you need to be well prepared to support with facts and figures and evidence when you go into such meetings, because then it is very, very important. And then number two, you shouldn't allow your own performance to suffer because you are angry, because you are disappointed, or because you are frustrated with your supervisor or your boss. Because sometimes people allow it to affect the work output. I remember earlier when I was indicating that one of the impacts that bad bosses or difficult bosses have on their work is that they contribute to lower productivity. But you in concern, or the person involved, should always have it in mind that you are not going to allow your work performance to suffer because you are angry or disappointed or frustrated. As much as it depends on you, you have a reputation to uphold, and therefore you need to keep working very hard to ensure that you are producing the proper results. Because you see, at the end of the day, it is your results that will speak for you. There's no way you can go and stand and say, because you are the terrible boss, you also had a terrible output. So people need to keep that in mind. Very, very important. And then also, sometimes you need to not assume that your supervisor knows how you are feeling. Sometimes people think that, oh, they can read into in between the lines and they can know that this is what is going on. No, sometimes don't assume or don't work with that assumption. That is why I said in the first instance that it's important to have those difficult conversations to allow you to be able to bring some of these things to the attention of the people that are involved. All right. Then the other thing that you have to do that will be very helpful is that you have worked with the person for a while, so at least you know the person. You should be able to find a common ground with your boss. So I tell people that look at the goal of the organization as the driving force, not particularly the person you are working with or your supervisor or your boss, but just look at the goal of the organization or the goal of the business you are working with. And that should be the common grounds that brings all of you together to be able to work towards a set agenda. And then sometimes too, you need to establish the requirements that are necessary to give proper feedback to your supervisors. And you need to understand the organization you're working with. Because I remember I said that every boss has a boss. So the boss to your boss has a boss. That's so right. Sometimes if it's not working when you are engaging directly with your supervisor, you may have to jump the hurdle a bit higher to look at the people that manage your boss, because then it is helpful. Because then your boss also reports to other people, and if you're able to get the attention of the people your boss reports to, they may be able in a way, especially because they may be good leaders, to help improve the situation. So you need to keep that in mind. Very, very important. And then the other thing is that sometimes because you are very embittered against your boss, even when your boss is doing well or performing well, you don't give the credit due the person. But I think that as much as it depends on you, where your manager deserves credit, you shouldn't hesitate to give that credit. That is very, very important. Because the person is a terrible person, it doesn't mean that when you're doing a counter appraisal for the person, you're just filling bad words, negative words, and all those things just to bring down the person. You need to be as objective as possible, and where credit is due, please make sure you give the credit to the person. I think that's also very important. Then the other issue too is that you need to hold yourself responsible for your output at the end of the day. Don't put everything in the hands of your leader. Or don't leave everything entirely in the hands of your leader. Take ownership of the work you are doing. Be accountable for the things you are doing, so that at any point or at any time, you are in a position to be able to give an account of what it is you're doing. And maybe finally, I need to also say that there are certain things that you need to report. either to your boss's boss, or even if it's a criminal issue, you may even have to resort to reporting to the police. Okay, so matters of abuse, when you're physically abused or sexually abused, where you are discriminated against, maybe because of your gender or because of your color or your race or your ethnicity, and where there are criminal violations involved in the work you are doing, and your supervisor is the one perpetuating such acts, I think that it's important that you make a report. Don't keep it to yourself, because at the end of the day, when there's an issue or there's a legal issue or there's a scandal or anything of that sort, you may be implicated. So I think that it's important for employees to be empowered enough to be able to also report where they need to report, and then ensure that the right things are done in the organization.
Your final words.
It's a difficult situation. Not all bosses will be pleasant, but if you're able to apply some of the things we've discussed, it can help you navigate this very thorny issue. And I tell people that when you're also promoted to a boss or to a supervisor, remember some of the bad experiences you have and make it a point to improve yourself to the point where you don't become a replication of those negative or bad experiences you had with your former supervisors or your former bosses. So I think that that's also important. Sometimes we have to be the change we desire to see. All right, you don't say that because when I was working under this person, I was more treated, I was this and that. When I become the leader, I also ensure I do the same thing. It doesn't work that way. I think that people will have to change the story and change the paradigm, and it will begin from you. When you get the opportunity to be a leader, make sure that you set a good example that others can follow.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure having you on radio.
Thank you so much for having me as well, and my best regards to the team and the rest of your audiences.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, so that was Mr. John Appiah. He's the president for African Chamber for Youth Development, also the CEO of ALE Consult. Stick and stay right here. 50 minutes on top of the hour, 7 a.m. GMT in the studios of PAPALAW Radio. We're streaming live on www.mountainghana.com, online radiobox.com. I want you to hit the share button, share the broadcast on your page, on your timeline, send the link to your friends. I came, I saw, and I conquered. I'm coming.
society. Obanyansapo so obunibia won kana asam. Tema futu sam kade wa asukome.
55 minutes on top of the hour, 7 a.m. GMT, the studios of PAPALAW Radio. We streaming live on www.morningghana.com, online, radiobox.com. It's your favorite morning show, Mpɔtam with PAPALAW Perfect on PAPALAW Radio. I want you to hit the share button, share the message on your page or your timeline, send the link to your friends. Now it's time for our editorials for today. GHS to commence 7th National COVID-19 vaccination exercise on July 19th. The Ghana Health Service, GHS, has announced that it will begin its 7th National COVID-19 vaccination days, NACVAT 7, from tomorrow, July 19 to Sunday, July 23rd, aiming to immunize about 1 million persons. According to the service, 10 million people out of more than 30 million population of the country have fully received the vaccine, with the rest yet to either vaccinate or undergo complete vaccination. Speaking at a press conference to launch the nationwide exercise, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Boaji, highlighted the existence of the virus despite rumors that it is no more. As you may recall, on the 5th May 2023, the WHO Director General, through the advice of the International Health Regulatory Emergency Committee, determined that COVID-19 was now an established and ongoing health issue which will no longer constitute a public health emergency of international concern. He did not say that COVID-19 is no more. He said, meanwhile, the country representative from the World Health Organization, WHO, Dr. Agatha Guracha Guyo, assured commitment to support Ghana achieve her immunity against COVID-19. The WHO and its sister UN agencies in Ghana will continue to support the government of Ghana for a successful national COVID-19 campaign and, by extension, the achievement of health for all, he said. Ghana-Portugal signs defense and economic pact. President Nana Addo AKUFO-ADDO and his Portuguese counterpart, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, have signed bilateral instrument of cooperation in the areas of defense, political consultation, and trade between the two countries. This latest form of engagement, President AKUFO-ADDO said, will go a long way to strengthen the ties of friendship and the bonds of cooperation between Ghana and Portugal. Speaking at a joint press conference in Lisbon, Portugal, where President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, as part of his 3-day state visit to Portugal. On Tuesday, 18 July 2023, President AKUFO-ADDO stated that the move is born out of a decision by Ghana to turn our back on our old economy, which has been dependent on the production and export of raw materials, and also dependent on aid. According to President AKUFO-ADDO, he will want to build a value-added, industrialized economy with modernized agriculture, which is neither a victim nor pawn of the world economic order. We want our relations with Portugal and indeed the rest of the world to be characterized by an increase in trade and investment cooperation. He added that this is the way to develop healthy relations between our two countries and put Ghana at the high end of the value chain in the global marketplace and create jobs for the teeming masses of Ghanaians, particularly the youth. He pointed out that the discussions also focus on boosting further political cultural, people-to-people exchanges, and cooperation at the multilateral level, and on the need to promote a better world by addressing global issues related to the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. Towards this end, we have noted with satisfaction the value that the Ghana-Portugal Business Forum scheduled to be held tomorrow will add to our investment initiatives, he said. President AKUFO-ADDO further disclosed that the President of Portugal has also resolved to give voice to Ghana's cause and interests within the European Union. We, on the other hand, will also help to facilitate the provision of a platform for enhanced economic engagement between Portugal and the member countries of ECOWAS. This should boost the trade volumes and help bring prosperity to our people. On global security, he stated that with President Joe Biden of the United States of America and President Emmanuel Macron of the French Republic calling publicly for reforms at the UN Secretary Council in line with Azuwini consensus, they look forward to the leaders of the three other permanent members also throwing their support behind reform processes. At the Lisbon City Council, President AKUFO-ADDO was given the keys to the city of Lisbon by the Deputy Mayor Felipe Anacorita Correa. In his address, the President stated that history holds ample lessons that show that a rich trading partner operating within a fair trading system brings prosperity to both sides far more than the exploitation of a poor partner. It is for this reason, he continues, that I have come to Lisbon to advocate for increased investment and trade between our two nations. Trade relations between Ghana and Portugal has evolved through history, and it is clear that a new paradigm has to be defined. Soft-skinned bullion vans withdrawn. The Association of Bullion Van Operators in Ghana has announced the withdrawal of all soft-skinned bullion vans from operations across the country. The association says banks have been warned not to accept soft-skinned vans into their premises. The Ghana Police Service has also threatened to withdraw 8 officers from bank escort if the soft-skinned vans were not withdrawn. President of the association, Alhaji Idi Sumiala, says armored vans will now be used for cash pickups. Early on, he provided reassurance to the public that no soft-skinned vehicle will be used for transporting cash from starting from July 1st, 2023. I sacrificed and stepped down for AKUFO-ADDO in 2007. Alan Chematin, flag bearer aspirant of the governing New Patriotic Party (NPP), Alan Kojo Chematin says he made the greatest political sacrifice in 2007 by voluntarily stepping down for Nana Addo Dankwa AKUFO-ADDO to contest the 2008 presidential election on the ticket of the NPP. He said this to avoid a runoff, thereby allowing then fellow contestant Nana Addo to win the party's 2007 primary. Speaking to some NPP members in the Volta region as part of his campaign tour, Mr. Chemate said his decision was in the supreme interest of the NPP and the nation at large. According to him, the sacrifices was further aimed at fostering unity within the party. I made the greatest political sacrifice in the history of Ghana's politics by stepping down for Nana Addo. It was in the supreme interest of the NPP and to foster unity, he stated. For him, the decision to step down for Nana Addo in 2007 presidential primary exemplifies a remarkable display of sacrifice, selflessness, and commitment for greater cohesion in the MPP. He mentioned that by recognizing that a united party will have a stronger chances of success in Ghana's political landscape, he prioritized the MPP's collective interest over his personal ambition, a feat he describes as the greatest political sacrifice in Ghana's geopolitical space. "6 million Ghanaian voters are calling for me to become president," Alan Chemate, a presidential candidate hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, Alan John Kojo Chemate, has said that Ghanaian voters are calling on him to lead the country to prosperity. He asserted that the voters have identified that he has the capabilities and formula to develop and strengthen the country's economy. He therefore implored MPP delegates to elect him as the next presidential candidate to enable the governing party to maintain power in 2024, since he is a favorite among the 10 aspirants. He said this when addressing delegates at Sogakpope during the first day of his cluster tour of the Volta region. He illustrated that his competence was evident in the leadership roles he played as trade minister in promoting trade and industrialization agenda in Ghana. He said that 6 million Ghanaian voters will help the MPP win power, are calling for him to become president, but it behooves on MPP delegate to set him on the right path. Out of the 10 people, the first thing that the 6 million people are asking you to do is to drop all of them. Who do you think is likely to become flag bearer? And then he will become president of Ghana. He quizzed the delegate, who responded with one common voice: Alan. Some MPs may be secretly backing those in court over anti-LGBTQ plus bill, AKUFO-ADDO. The Member of Parliament for Broome constituency, AKUFO-ADDO, says he suspects that some colleague MPs are backing the individuals who are in court to overturn Parliament decision to make LGBTQ plus activities punishable by law. Mr. Adams says using the element of connection, he has reasonable reasons to be suspicious. As for those who are hiding behind other persons to go to court, I suspect so, and have reasonable reasons to suspect. Sometimes the positions and leaning of some of those persons who are in court make me believe and know that this person is connected to this person is connected to that. So if today I find you taking a certain step, it's a reasonable justification for me to suspect that is what I'm doing, he said. Already some individuals have resorted to legal action seeking an injunction on Parliament and the Speaker, Abang Bagbe, in order to overturn the House's decision to pass the anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Their primary agenda is that the passing of the bill will cause an infringement on the rights of the people in the LGBTQ plus community. But arguing on the lines of culture, some MPs, the Speaker-in-Chiefs, insist the practice of the LGBTQ plus community are not in line with the values of the various indigenous communities. The Speaker has, in fact, assured the nation of the passage of the bill. Stressing on this, Mr. Adams added that Parliament has a duty and responsibility to perform its function, and we are performing that function. He argues that the judicial arm of government cannot dictate to the legislature on how it should perform its duties. I didn't pay $2 million to fund Accra Sky Train project, asks GIIF Gyakye. Former Minister of Railways Development Gyakye has stated that he never paid any money to AI Sky, nor did he authorize the payment of $2 million to fund the failed Accra Sky Train project. to abolish the penalty has a AKUFO-ADDO's blessing. Xavier Sosu, the member of parliament for Madina constituency, Francis Xavier Sosu, has disclosed that the Criminal Offences Amendment Act, which seeks to replace the death penalty with life imprisonment, has the backing of President Nana Addo Dankwa AKUFO-ADDO, who is hopeful Parliament passes the bill into law. Minority questions usefulness of OSP demands result. A minority in Parliament has been questioning the usefulness of the office of the Special Prosecutor since its establishment. The group says the office of the Special Prosecutor had not been able to successfully prosecute a single case of corruption for punishment. Speaking to journalists, the minority chief whip, Davin Sakbuja, said the office was unnecessary in the face of numerous investigative bodies in the country. While some of us believe that office was needless because the Yoko CID and Financial Crime Unit, all those offices can combine and do a good job. The government insisted that the OSP will do more jobs. You are aware that as we speak, they have not been able to successfully prosecute a single case and anybody punished. So the question is, how useful is that office? So we are saying that other people could have done the same thing, he noted. Gyakye Quayson'S trial, minority boycott parliament for fourth time. Parliamentary business is in limbo as the minority caucus boycotted sittings to support member of parliament for Asin North, Gyakye Quayson'S, for the fourth time. Members of the caucus disclosed their decision to boycott parliamentary business on Gyakye Quayson'S trial, days when he was sworn in on July 4th. Members carried through with the threat and the actions hindered parliamentary proceedings, with the speaker, Abam Bagbe, cautioning the caucus that the action is against the standing orders of the House. Members of the public, including some legislators, have also expressed dissatisfaction with the continuous absence of the caucus from parliament in order to show solidarity with their colleague who is facing criminal prosecution. Though many appeals have been extended to the caucus to resign its decision, it insists the action will only be halted if the ongoing criminal case against its colleague Gyakye Quayson'S is dropped. The end of the editorials for today. Take a stay right here.
Some pirates, Obayan Sapuso, Bunibia, one can some. They map to some Kakre was Sukume. Yo, oh, my woman, oh, many a mamma, Benny baby, the charge, they are warring. One as I did.
One some yatini paneye. Or might be if you 30 minutes on top of the hour, 8 a.m. GMT in the studios of PAPALAW Radio. We stream it live on www.modegana.com, online radiobox.com. On PAPALAW Radio, we educate, we inform, and above all, we entertain. It's time to be educated, and I love this topic because these are sicknesses and diseases that are disturbing, and the doctors will say diseases. You are right. So we are going to be educated on cervical cancer. So Doc is already on the line. We have on the line Dr. Brefuwa Leslie. He's a medical doctor at Standards Clinic in Koforidua. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, boss.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
We thank God. The Lord is faithful. We are bouncing very well. I hope the family and your patients are also doing well.
Oh, they are all fine.
We thank God. We thank God. You are missed.
Oh, yes. Yes, I know. I've missed you too.
Yes. That's right. Doc, health care in Ghana How is it
this
going?
question.
In this question,
No, you're working hard. I'll urge my colleagues who are in the health profession to, we have to all do our best to save lives. And as I said, if you're a health professional and you don't have the passion, then you have to find something else and do.
That's right.
You have to have passion for the job. And if we do that, you are going to save lives. Thank you.
Doc, what is it about COVID-19? WHO says it's over. I don't know if it's no more or what. We have to be vaccinated, and I mean your Ghana Health Service, your boss had dropped some of these informations in the dailies. What is it all about? Is COVID-19 dead and gone, or is still hanging around us, or we should declare COVID-19 as malaria, so we know it's with us? You can have it at any time. I mean, tell us, educate us briefly about it.
Thank you very much. When we talk about COVID-19, as we spoke about it the other day, now because majority of the population have taken the vaccine, you see, it's not as serious as it used to be. We get it. So we have 8 variants, the Delta and the Omicron, though, but because majority of people have taken the vaccine, it's not as serious as previously as it was. You get it. That's why they are saying, I don't know the term you use, but it's there.
Okay.
It's there. So if you've not taken your vaccine, try as much as possible to take it. We have this what we call herd immunization. That's where the population, a larger number of the population have taken the vaccination. So it brings down the let me say, the complication of the disease down.
Okay.
So people are not going to die from it. People are not going to suffer from it too much. The impact will be lesser than previously. You get it. But now that a lot of people are saying, I think we are not going to suffer as we suffered 3 years ago. You get it? Yeah, that's it. It is there, so we all have to watch out. And if you're not taking the vaccine, you have to take it so that you will be free.
This innuendos there, we'll see. All right, Doc, thank you for the education, because a lot of Ghanaians said WHO even says COVID-19 is over, it's no more here with us, and now we are told. So thanks for the clarification, we are grateful.
Okay, thank you.
So Doc, what are we learning today? I've already mentioned the topic.
Yes.
So
We'll go through cervical cancer.
Wow.
And yes, cervical cancer.
So what is cervical cancer? How do you mention it?
Cervical.
That's right. This is your terms.
Now, when we talk about cervical cancer, it's a malignant tumor of the cervix, the lower part of the uterus. So, tumor of the lower part of the uterus. So, when we talk about malignancy, the development of growth of the cancer cells as distance from primary site of the cancer.
Okay.
So that means it can spread. You get it. So it's a malignant tumor of the cervix. And you talk about the cervix, as I said, the lower part of the uterus. The lower part.
Okay.
And when we talk about cervical cancer, it is the third most common cancer in women. And also, it is the leading cause of cancer-related death in women.
So this specifically found in women, right?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Wow.
Yes, please. Because men, we don't have uterus.
That's right.
We don't have uterus. Yes. So it is the leading cause of cancer death in women. Yes. So that's it.
Wow. So what are the risk factors?
Risk factors of cervical cancer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Some of the risk factors, you see, you have to be a woman. That's the first thing.
That's right.
Yes, you have to be a female. So once you're a female, you have the chance of getting cervical cancer. Now we have another virus called the human papilloma virus. Now, if you are tested positive, or if you test positive for human papilloma virus, you stand a chance of getting cervical cancer, because that is the cause. The human papilloma virus causes the cervical cancer. So if you've been tested positive for cervical cancer, you stand a chance of getting. If you've been tested positive for human papilloma virus, you can get what you call the cervical cancer. Also, we have what we call the immunocompromised patients. Immunocompromised patients as a patient with a compromised immune system or a weakened immune system. When you talk about the weakened immune system, those with, let's say, HIV/AIDS and the rest, you get it. So they also stand a chance of getting this cervical cancer. Now we have age.
Okay.
Age in women from 30 to 65 years of age. If you fall within this age group, there's a chance of getting this cervical cancer. Yes, please. So we have to watch out for it. Now we have this oral contraceptives pills.
Okay.
So because of the hormonal changes. So the oral contraceptive pills can also predispose someone to this cervical cancer. So I'll urge my colleagues and my ladies to stop abusing the oral contraceptive pills. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Yes. Now we have also socio-economic factors. Socio-economic factors. Let me say for like poverty. See, when you are rich, the lab investigation for cervical cancer is quite expensive. You get it. So at times, people who are rich are able to detect it early, because when you go to the lab and they tell you that it is, let's say, 3 million, you can buy 300 Ghana cedis. You can go and do the labs, so you can detect it earlier. But if you are poor and you go to the hospital and they tell you that go and do pap smear, let's say 300 Ghana, and the person going to do it, the last she's having, let's say 50 cedis. She brought 50 cedis to the hospital. She'll be like, oh, we create a lab and doctor, you get it. So she go home without doing the lab investigation, and by so doing, this virus will eat her up and later result in the end stage of the cervical cancer. So normally the socioeconomic factors also play a role in cervical cancer. So we have smoking. Smoking is also part. So female who smokes also stand a chance of getting this cervical cancer. So these are some of the risk factors of cervical cancer. And it's more in black people than white.
Why? No, why is it so?
Because mostly white people do this lab investigation.
Okay.
You get it. So they are able to detect it earlier. But we, the blacks, we are
unless we are sick.
Tell them. Of course, even if they are sick and you tell them, they will go elsewhere. You get it? And we apply all sorts of things. So that is it. Yes.
I've realized that the only time you see a typical Ghanaian at the hospital is when they are sick.
Yes, of course. That one.
The culture. The moment somebody sees me at the hospital, then the next question the person will ask is, "Why, Papa, are you sick?" Meanwhile, you don't have to be sick before you visit the health facility.
Yes.
You have to be there for random checkups and all that. So thanks for the education. So, Doc, what are the signs and symptoms of cervical cancer?
The first, I'll talk of asymptomatic. The first signs and symptoms is you say asymptomatic. When you talk about asymptomatic, the signs that you don't know. You have the disease too, but nothing shows that you have the disease.
Okay.
So the best thing you have to do is to test. You get it. So that is the first sign. It's asymptomatic. Now the second one is abnormal vaginal bleeding.
Okay.
Abnormal vaginal bleeding. Now when we talk, that one is common, so people know. So we have menstrual pain, menstruation. You have menstruation, menstrual flow, you get it. But this one, you detect or you see that this one will be abnormal. You get your menses though, then you'll be seeing this vaginal discharge or the abdominal bleeding. You get it. And if you get this sign, please report to the hospital for investigation. Also, there is this vaginal discomfort. We talk about vaginal pain. You'll be there will be nothing wrong with you, but you'll be feeling pain in the vagina. So these are also signs and symptoms of cervical cancer. Now, there will be an unpleasant discharge. There will be this discharge you treat, but it will still persist. So if you get this, you have to also report to the hospital. We have what we call the dysuria. When you talk about dysuria, painful urination. So you burning sensation during urination. You get it. It's not all painful urination.
That means you have it.
That means you have it. Yes. Some of them you have UTI causing it.
That's right.
You have other sexually transmitted infection causing that. You get it. So dysuria is also a sign of cervical cancer. Now we have pain during sexual intercourse. Some ladies, when they have sex, they feel pains within. So if you have this, you have to also rule out cervical cancer. Now we have abnormal menstruation. A lady can menstruate like 3 times in a month. It's not good.
That's right.
You have to watch out and you have to screen. We have heavy menstruation. I talk about heavy menstruation. You see, there will be a heavy blood flow. That's it. So you're a lady and you know your normal flow. At times you can change the pad, I think, let me say 3 times or twice a day. But this one you are changing more than 10 times or more than 8 times. It has to alert you that no, something is going on, something is wrong. So these are the signs and symptoms of cervical cancer. Thank you.
So how do you investigate cervical cancer?
Okay, thank you. As I said, with the investigation, we have to know the cause, and the cause of this cervical cancer is the human papilloma virus. So the best thing you have to do is to do this pap testing. That's the pap smear, the test for it. And pap smear, when you are less than 21 years old, is not recommended. No screening is recommended. But when you are 21 years to 29 years old, pap smear alone is very necessary, and it has to be done every 3 years. Now, when you are 30 to 65 years, we have to do the human papilloma virus test first. We do the pap smear, and we also do cytology. So these are the labs that we do. So we do the pap smear. We have the human papilloma test, and human papilloma test, we do it from from the ages of 30 years to 65 years. Now, and we do cytology too. Cytology 2 is done for the ages of 30 years to 65 years. And these tests are done every 5 years. As a lady, you have to be able to do these tests every 5 years. Yeah, you have to do it. Now, if you are above 65 years of age, you don't need to. There's no need for screening of cervical cancer. Yes. And if you've done adequate screening and it has come negative, if you are above 65 years and you've done previous screenings, which your age was less than, if you had 65 years of age and your test came out negative, there's no need to screen for cervical cancer again. Thank you. So predominantly, these are the lab investigations that you do for pap smear. Thank you.
Okay, so finally, Doc, is cervical cancer manageable? If yes, how do we manage it?
Yes, it's manageable. And the management is, let me take it this way. We have immunization. See, females must go to the hospital and do this immunization against the human papilloma virus. Okay. And early treatment and recognition is key. So if we test and we screen by a doctor is the best thing. So I'll urge our ladies to do this testing, and also we should go for this cervical cancer screening. When you are there and you hear that they are doing cervical screening somewhere, please try as much as possible and go and do it. We also have the other treatment, the surgical treatment. You have the surgical removal of the tumor. So we go in there and we take out the cancer from the uterus. That is when we have stage 0. You do the surgical removal. When you are stage 1 of cervical cancer, we do the hysterectomy. That's the removal of the uterus. We are taking everything out. Now, we also have chemotherapy. Chemotherapy is the giving of drugs, the use of drugs to destroy the cancer cells. So these are the treatments or the management of cervical cancer. We also have this psychological support and counseling. Psychological support and counseling, like you just let the patient know that if you have cervical cancer, it doesn't mean you are going to die. So you psychologically, you have to psych the person, you have to motivate the person, you have to counsel the person. And this work is not for health professionals only. You have to also get your religious leaders to also partake, because most of the times they make the work very difficult. You'll be telling the patient to do this, take this medication.
The pastor says don't take it.
Tell them, yes, and then the pain.
I can relate, but
yeah. So you have to involve them so that together we can work and battle cervical cancer. So we have another palliative care focus, and this one is providing relief from the symptoms and stress of the illness. So if we tell you that you are having cervical cancer, the stress that you go through is a lot. So we also have this palliative care focus to relieve them from these symptoms and the stress. So ideally, these are the management of cervical cancer. Thank you.
Doc, thank you this morning. I've really been educated, and our listeners and viewers are so grateful.
You're welcome. Thank you too. All right.
Talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Same to you.
All right, so that was Dr. Mpɔtam Leslie of Standards Clinic in Koforidua, educating us on survival cancer. Amazing stuff. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure our brothers and sisters, our mothers, have learned a lot. If you're a man and you listened, please educate your brother or your sister. Educate your mother or your sister. Thank you very much. I'm going for a quick break. When I'm back, politics.
Yamo Yamura, Ebeya, Efri Yanara. Asam Paritia, Abayan Sapusu, Bunia, one can asam. They map to some Kakre was Sukume. Oh, my woman, oh, many a mamma, Granny baby, what are they warring? Consom, one in the as I did power of you. Come on,
On Monday, 37 minutes on top of the hour, 8 a.m. GMT in the studios of PAPALAW Radio. We're streaming live on www.modernghana.com, onlineradiobox.com. It's time for politics, and we can't do politics without the politicians. I have these noble politicians on the line. Honorable Abdul Ganiu is NDC's communication member, Krachi East. Honorable, good morning.
Good morning.
And the Lord is faithful. And welcome to PAPALAW Radio on Mpɔtam Morning Show. Honorable, whose background is a bit noisy? Honorable Ganiu, you are welcome to PAPALAW Radio.
I think it's my background, but I was walking. I'm joining my car, so
okay.
The noise should go down shortly.
No problem. Honorable Ganiu, you are welcome.
Thank you, my Lord. How's it going?
The Lord is faithful. We are bouncing well.
We can't complain.
That's right. So let me go to Honorable Carl. Honorable, how are you doing?
By the grace of God, we're doing well.
That's right.
And like I always say, if the Lord Almighty does not have an assignment for you, you will not see a new day.
That's right.
So once we have seen a new day, means that the Lord has an assignment for us.
That's right.
And it's a call to duty. It's a call to serve.
That's right.
To serve our country and to serve wherever we work.
That's right. All right, Honorable Ganiu, how is the NDC doing? You have already voted for your candidate in the person of His Excellency, former President John Dramani Mahama. How is the NDC doing?
Well, as usual, in opposition, we are doing just as it is for the opposition party to do, to make sure that we put on toes any political party that is in government. So we are doing our best in the country to make sure we put the country in shape in opposition.
The nation has a lot to offer, and we can't enjoy the resources of this nation without you, the leaders or the political leaders. How do you see the state of Ghana as it stands now?
If I can get you clear, are you talking about the youth of this country?
Yes. And then the state of this nation.
Well, let me use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to your lovely listeners and your your radio management.
That's right.
And my counterpart who is also usually on us.
That's right.
On phone. As customary demands, we are in a democratic era, and what we need to offer to our dear nation is to make sure the mass or the youth get jobs to do. But as we can see, there's a teeming youth that have to give a lot of complaint about work to do. Just as last year, you can even recall when people were going for recruitment exercise. We looked at a lot of people giving out complaints about work that they have to get to do. We have about millions of Ghanaians who are now in the queue who have not gotten jobs to do.
That's right.
If you quite remember, quite recently, we heard about Nigeria getting up a youth program that will help in agriculture. I think these are some of the enlightenments that have to cut across all these sub-Saharan African countries. That we should have a government that will come to be a listening government that will listen to the cry of the youth. And that's exactly what we are missing in this government that we have. Another down for AKUFO-ADDO and Baumia's government is missing out of the clue of getting jobs for its people. And exactly that is where we are today.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let me go to Honorable Apia. Honorable.
Yes, sir.
How is Ghana doing?
Okay. Unfortunately, I would have to start my submission by addressing some of the issues that the gentleman raised.
That's right. That is Honorable Ganiu. Is Honorable Ganiu.
We cannot start our submissions without greeting your cherished listeners.
That's right.
And for me, if you have realized the line of my submission, I do not come on radio or TV to greet any political aspirant.
That's right.
Or to run down any political aspirant, because like I've told you in the past, I believe that all the candidates who have put themselves up for elections are equally competent, and any of them who is given the opportunity to lead the party, all of them are going to work together to ensure that they pass on the baton to the NPP. But that said, you cannot, and I would say again that the NDC cannot in any way accuse the NPP of creating hardship for the youth. In fact, it is a sacrilege for the NDC to say that the NPP is clueless when it comes to the creation of jobs. We were in Ghana when the NDC, current candidate and former president, when the youth of Ghana were complaining about jobs, he said he is not a magician to create jobs for them. It is the same former president who says when Ghanaians complained about hardship, he said that he cannot put money in their pocket. So the man who has said he's not a magician to create jobs, when he had the capacity and the trust of the people of Ghana to create jobs, he said he could not because he was not a magician. How then does he turn around to say that he has the ability and the capacity to create jobs for the youth? That is preposterous. Again, we were in Ghana when graduates were complaining of unemployment. The Minister of State at the time, who was advisor to the President on employment, Dr. Rashid Pebo, told Ghanaian graduates that they lack skills, they lack competence to be employed. And for that matter, if they wanted employment, they should go and learn skills to get employed. When he was pushed to the wall, that what kind of skills are they going to give the people? What kind of employment do they have for the people? He said that if you are a graduate, you should look for a sickle. You should look for a sack. Go to the bush or walk by the roadside. There are a lot of grasses growing. Cut some, put them in the sack and put it by the roadside. Cattle rearers and goat rearers will come around and come and buy. So at the end of the day, you should be able to make 100 cedis or 50 cedis to be able to feed yourself. This was the kind of employment that the NDC was promising Ghanaians. In the same way, the NDC, which is touting itself that it has the ability to create jobs. We were in Ghana when the infamous Unemployed Graduate Association was formed. The former President Mahama had the ability, had all the resources of the state to ensure that employment were created. But he could not, because he didn't have the clue on how to create the jobs. So we had Unemployed Graduate Association. In the same way, teachers and nurses had graduated 3 years, 4 years down the line. None of them had been posted. Parents who had sold their clothing, people who had sold their farms and were expecting that, they said that your children are your investment. And therefore, when you educate them, they come and take care of you. They could not give them jobs. And so these mothers and fathers who have sold their clothing, who have sold their resources, were still feeding these kids because they are at home. It took the intervention of Nana AKUFO-ADDO, who came and employed the backlog of nurses and teachers who were sitting at home since 2012. So how dare the NDC say that they will come and create jobs?
Honorable,
under the NDC.
Okay.
When people were employed for 3 years, 2 years, the president said that they had only their capacity to pay them for 3 months when they had worked for 2 years and 3 years.
I remember.
How dare the NDC accuse the NPP?
All right.
That they have the power and they have the ability to create jobs.
Okay.
In any case, when the NPP came to power, we have created over 2 million jobs. And we have given them the statistics and the data, both in the formal and the informal sector. But because the NDC continues to behave like the ostrich, they will not read. They will go to the bank of the river, go and muddy the water, and come down and say that who has done that. So please, I am telling Ghanaians that if anybody claims they have the good of the people at heart, if anybody claims that they have the capacity and the ability to create jobs, they should give us their policies that would outline the way and manner in which they are going to create jobs. Otherwise, it is just as good as saying that we want to lie our way into power.
All right.
The NDC has no policy, and the NDC is never and ever the alternative for
All right. Honorable, thank you. Your point is well made. Honorable Ganiu, I'll give you 1 minute if you have anything to say so that we go to the main topics.
My good friend is creating a lot of fallacy. The good people of Ghanaians, that my honorable appear, the good people of Ghanaians know exactly what they are.
If you go with the fallacy to prove the parts that are the fallacy.
Yes, you know.
He who already must bring a proof. So please don't just say
Honorable Carl, you give him the chance to do that.
I've given you the audience, and you know this platform is one of the biggest platforms in the country, and we must show due diligence to ourselves as a political.
That's fine. Agreed. So Honorable, please go ahead.
Ghana here, everyone knows what the MPP has been doing. You said all these things with the NDC and we get us out of power. You are now in Ghana for 7 good years and you are still complaining. How can you be in government for 7 good years and you are still complaining about the NDC? It means you are clueless. It means you don't have any vision for this country.
So Honorable, you agree to the fact that had been laid bare, right? You agree with
that have been laid clear. There have not been any evidence on what he's saying
about the statement of the statement of the former president and then Honorable Pepro's assertions.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama created jobs. He is aware. You know, all the time the MPP seeks to say we don't have any social intervention, and the social intervention gets people on board to work. What is social intervention? When you
I have not talked about social intervention.
Yes, no, social intervention.
Please correct him. I have not talked about
Honorable, please let him make his point.
When
Don't worry.
you put up infrastructure, when you put up infrastructure, you are creating jobs directly and indirectly. When you put up schools, you are creating jobs. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama put up hospitals, and it is job creation because people are going to work over there. Both from the informal and the formal sector are going to work in the hospitals. When we build schools, it is one or the other. People are going to work there. Teachers are going to work there to be enrolled in. I hope I'm clear. So His Excellency John Dramani Mahama created more jobs. And he is coming again to create more jobs, over 1 million jobs for people.
Honorable Apia is making a point that yes, if you claim MPP have not created enough jobs for the youth, they have the statistics. Can the NDC also?
The economic implications are the direct statistics of it.
That's right.
We are in this country. You can see how even armed robbers are harassing policemen with million vans. The rate of robbery is high. It means that there is hardship in the country. More issues about the society is increasing. That is the indication that there are no jobs. A lot of issues that is ungovernable. Look at a lot of activities and things happening in the country which are not good. In the security services, in the public sector, look at corruption. These are the indications that you can know that there are no jobs. If indeed there are jobs, all these things will be minimized. Have you seen that? Look at the Public Accounts Committee. What has come out are clear indications that the MPP is having loopholes in their governance system, making sure they run down our sector with a lot of money. The MPP said they have the men to govern this country, and they will never resort to even going to any support aid from outside. My good brother Apia rightfully said that they have created over 250,000 jobs, or even 250 million jobs. Where are the statistics he's talking about? Which sector? Is it the education sector? Which sector have they entered? They should give us a clear cut. You know, the MPP have nothing to offer to Ghanaians. And that is exactly why we must go. Look at our roads. Look at the complaints we are having from various constituencies and districts about the nature of our roads. They came out and gave a sloganic that we are in the year of roads. So that year of road has never come to pass. You see, they said Ghana is beyond aid, but yet they are going for aid. Going to IMF alone is on aid. So what would the MPP tell us? That they have come to govern well for Ghanaians.
Honorable, so let's leave it here and then move to
end this, my brother, to end this.
That's right.
Let's go to the state of our national cathedral. That has been the heart of AKUFO-ADDO, the president. We use state money. People are siphoning state money as a result of this. Have you seen?
Yes, Honorable, I think from now they are all allegations, right? It says...
They are not allegations, they are clear, you know.
But nobody has been prosecuted and found guilty about this.
You know the system now. The MPP holds almost all the sectors. The judiciary is held by the MPP. The executive council is held by the MPP. The judiciary is held by the MPP.
Honorable, I think the judiciary is for every citizen of this land. Anybody can be there, right?
You rightfully know what is going on. It's a unanimous judicial system that we are presiding over now by the state. As described by
is it because most of the judgment don't go in your favor?
Not that they don't go in your favor, but you know we have clear cases that we see that it must go to this direction. But before you see,
I'm not a lawyer. But Honorable, you and I know that they look at the face of the law and then apply the law. They look at the intent and then the act and then they pass judgment. Or you don't think so?
My brother, even the issue about Gyakye Quayson'S currently that we went to attend up election. what do you need? What do you have to say as even a common sense lawyer or what do you call a layman description about what is happening now? The people of Asino have presented their candidate. You say no, by law, he has to be getting rid of parliament. He was getting rid of parliament. The people presented the man again. So he's in court.
Honorable, for anybody, according to the constitution, for anybody to vie for any position, a public office position like becoming a member of parliament, you have to apply the law. You have to live within the ambit of the law, right?
Yeah.
So he contested based on the law, and the law says before you contest, you can hold dual citizenship. And at the time of filing,
he denounced his dual citizenship before entering the parliament.
No, Honorable, he was in the process.
No, he had a certificate on 25th of November.
Are you talking about the current by-election?
I'm talking about the current by-election.
Oh, okay.
Not even
well, the law is saying we are not talking about this one. We are talking about yesterday.
You are talking about what?
Yesterday. The court is still on his case because he was in the process. So
for now, is he still having a dual nationality?
No.
So why would the court not throw off the case?
The case is that initially, 2020 elections, he was still in the process of renouncing his citizenship when he was filing for that position.
So is he now having dual nationality?
No.
He's not having it. And that's
all right.
He's not having it now.
All right, but we'll leave the rest to the judges. The onus lies on...
No, we'll leave the rest to the judges, but the masses are also part of the judgment. The good people of this country are part of the judgment.
All right, well, I know, but it's about the law.
The law, before the law is the people who made the law.
Anyway, we are praying for a good judgment. I mean, let's always accept the fact that some of these cases can be used in the future. People of the view that yes, when the case is dropped, on one breath, when the case is dropped, somebody will say, okay, if he was an ordinary citizen, would the case be withdrawn? No. It would have traveled to see the light of the day at the court. So we are looking at the case from different angles, but it's becoming political.
But every meaningful Ghanaian will attest to the fact that the system is not working now.
All right.
Every sector is having problems. The roads and highways is having problems. The education is having problems. The health sector is having problems. Our agri sector is having problems. And even currently, you know that Ghana, the MPP have siphoned money from the GIIF.
Yes, it's already. We'll talk about that. Honorable, let's leave this one here and let's go to the main topic. Honorable Apia.
Yes, sir.
Ghana and Portugal signed defense and economic pact. The president is on a state visit, 3-day state visit to Portugal, and the president has spoken well. He's of the view that Ghana's decision to turn our back on our old economy, which has been dependent on production and export of raw materials and also dependent on aid, now want to shift focus and do more than necessary. We want to build a value-added industrialized economy with modernized agriculture, which is neither a victim nor pawn of the world economic order. We want our relations with Portugal and indeed the rest of the world to be characterized by an increase in trade and investment cooperation. Honorable, to achieve these sustainable development goals, is this vision visible?
Hello, PAPALAW.
Yeah, Honorable.
Okay, first of all, it's unfortunate I have to say this, But you see, this morning, you have allowed this young man to run the show the way he wants. He has not been factual. He has been very cunning, and he has tried to run, set his own question and answer his own question.
Honorable, if you follow the discussion, I question when I need to question.
Please, if you allow me, okay. I'll come to your substantive question.
No problem.
You see, I raised specific issues, and these are issues that are verifiable. These are issues that are already in the public domain, and therefore anybody who fails or who feels like he wants to do a credible politics or discussion can verify. Is it true that our former president said he was not a magician to create jobs for the people? Is it true that Honorable Peko said that graduates go and cut grass and put them by the roadside and they can make money? Is it true that once upon a time the Graduate Unemployed Association was formed under the NDC?
Was it formed by the NDC?
That people were for 3 years and they were paid for 3 months and so on and so forth. If someone says these were fallacies, then I was expecting that you will ask them to prove or disprove what I had said. But he didn't. He said he went round, talking about things he does not even have understanding of. If we are talking about the justice system, and you are saying that the people made the law, and therefore, when it comes to judgment, the public should also be involved, then as well we must cover our court, so that whatever happens, we put them in the court of the public opinion. We do not want this our country to be a failed state. We do not want this country to be run as if there is no leadership. And so I would expect that going forward, you would advise our gentlemen that the nation has law, the nation has arms of government, and all of this function for the effective running and administration of this country. Now back to your question. I think His Excellency the President AKUFO-ADDO and His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has made it clear that when it comes to our economy, we can never ever develop by being stewards of wood and drawers of water. And in essence, we can never ever develop by being an economy that supplies raw materials. And as someone who is a child or a son of a cocoa grain area in Asante Atim, Akoko, I know that the cocoa industry is 100 billion industry. Ghana and most of our other countries like Ivory Coast, we make less than $10 billion as the producers of the raw material. And so if you realize that this is 100 billion industry and we are making less than 10 billion, which is less than 10%, then it calls for us to start thinking and rethinking about how to grow and manage our economy. And so before we came into power, you realize in our manifesto, we were talking about one district, one factory. And that is where I call on the NDC that when he who alleges must bring proof.
That's
so
right.
when they say that we have failed the economy, they should bring us clear-cut policy that they think they would use to run this country better than the NPP would do.
Honorable, let me play the devil's advocate. Somebody will say you are short of ideas, and so you want to tap into their plans. No, I'm coming. Honorable, hold on. You want to tap into their vision so that you make things better. And if things get better per adventure, if the economy start booming, how can they come to power?
Hello, can you say that again?
I'm saying that I'm playing the devil's advocate. If the NDC should show you or give you solutions as to how the economy should be run, and peradventure, if the economy start booming, it means that they will remain in opposition for long. On a lighter note,
I think that is where we're heading forward. I have no shadow of doubt that the good people of Ghana believe that the NDC, and for that matter, their partner have anything better to offer them. I do not believe that any most Ghanaians, and I know
maybe they have the solutions.
After our Black Ghana election, you see the kind of things that I'm talking about.
Anyway, maybe they have the solutions, but they are not ready to disclose them.
No, come on, let me tell you, the NDC, is a firefighting government, okay? They do not and never ever, and I'll prove this again by quoting one of their own persons, Dr. AKUFO-ADDO. He says that he stopped attending NDC conferences and congresses because he realized that they did not discuss ideas. They did not discuss policy about how to make Ghana better. When they go, all they discuss is how to rig elections and how to steal the mandate of the people. So he stopped attending Congress. And that is the NDC for you. Let me tell you, the NDC has selected its flag bearer. Is it true or false? They have. But we will select our candidates, come out with our manifesto and our policy before the NDC will do. Because they will wait to see what is in our manifesto so that it will help them prepare here. The NDC is bereft of ideas. The former president has been the president before. When he is talking, he does not talk about policy. All he goes around saying is attacking what we are doing. We will review this, we will review that, we will review this, we will review that. Somebody even said that he didn't know that the former president was an examiner. Because all he talked about was review, we will scrub this, we will do this, we will do that. Even to the extent that when the NDC was supposed to do a manifesto for 2020, they called on the public to say that the public should bring the ideas for them to draw their manifesto. And they said they called it the People's Manifesto. It is the People's Manifesto. They rejected it. So I say that the NDC has anything good to offer the good people of Ghana. I am open to a battle of policy. I am open to a battle of ideas. I am open to talking about policies and offering alternative ideas, and not about they can do this, they can't do this, we review this, we review that. Those things go to prove the incompetence of the opposition we have.
All right, so Honorable, with the president visit, you think it will yield a lot of results?
So like I was saying, I think that when we came, and when I was referring to the one district, one factory, when former Prime Minister of the UK, Tony Blair, came to Ghana, he says that he has been a Prime Minister, he has been in politics for a long time. But when it comes to an African president who has a clarity of vision and a direction of where the country is going, the president, Gyakye Quayson'S, is one of them. And I believe that we can, the basis of growing our economy, the basis of industrialized economy is the start of the one district, one factory. Let's start adding value to the raw materials we export. Let's start adding value to all the produce that leave the shores of Ghana. Once we do that, then we are going to realize the full potential and the value of our country. And therefore, I will not in any way disagree with the president that we have to start. Industrialization is the best way to go. We cannot be exporters of raw materials. We cannot, as a country, develop on the back of aid and grants. But we need to put our destiny in our own hands.
Honorable, don't you think Don't you think we've been drumming home this agenda for far too long? The talk, the no action, talk only kind of move.
No. I disagree with you on that tangent. I think that as a people, we start from somewhere and get somewhere.
Okay.
The one district, one factories that we promised, I will not say that we have achieved all of them, but at least we have a substantial number of them that are working.
Okay.
Through the one district, one factory, I know that some industries have been supported to open branches elsewhere. Through the one district, one factory, I know that some companies have even come into the country to come and assemble their cars and their machinery here. That is the way to go. We need to build the local economy. We need to create jobs for our people. And you see, this was how Donald Trump became the president of the United States of America. He became he wrote on the fact that most of the companies that were employing Americans had been shipped outside. And to make America great again, those industries must come back. The people of America must be put first. And that is exactly what His Excellency the President is talking about. And I think that it is not just a hearsay, it is not just a talk shop. The President and his Vice President have walked the talk before. And that is what they are doing. A lot of effort too.
So somebody will say now those days before President Mahama left office, inflation was hovering around 15%. Now Honorable Apia is around 42.5%.
Chairman, I think that if you want us to have this conversation, it's a great idea. We can talk about inflation, but we cannot also talk about current inflation without going back.
Okay.
Before COVID came, Ghana's economy was the third fastest growing economy in Africa. True or false?
That was true.
Before COVID came, our inflation was under 8%. True or false? Before the COVID, the Russia-Ukraine invasion, inflation, where was it? You realize the effect of COVID and the Russia-Ukraine crisis on the global world. As we speak, there are in Africa alone, there are over 32 countries before the IMF.
That's
you
right.
Understand?
That's
so
true.
If we put all these things together, we cannot. And Ghana, as part of the global village, Ghana, as one of the key players on the global scale, we cannot say that we will not feel the impact. Our economy is growing way better than what even the IMF and the international bodies have said it was going to grow. You understand? You could also realize that our economy had also suffered some backlash as a result of some quote and unquote, which was collaborated by I think the IMF or the World Bank.
That's right.
That some of the rating agencies did Africa a disservice based on their ratings, and therefore some of our donors or some of our partners did not come to support because they felt that Ghana.
But the African Development AfriBank was there for some African countries, including Ghana.
Hello.
I'm saying AfriBank was there for some of these countries.
Please, your question again.
I said AfriBank, Afrizim Bank gave support to some of these countries, including Ghana. No, I'm adding that to your point. I'm saying some of the Afrizim Bank also came to give support.
So you see that almost a lot of effort has gone into sustaining this economy. But even that, let's go back. If we're comparing now and the time of the end, you could realize that things are substantially better. We are paying workers their salaries. We have employed substantial number of nurses. We have employed substantial number of teachers. Our economy has expanded, and everybody is being paid their due. We do not allow people to work 2 years, 3 years, and pay them 3 months, saying that the economy is broke.
Honorable, you agree that some are also claiming their arrears as we speak? The buffer stock, the NABCO, and the likes.
Chairman, I think that we should be fair to ourselves. We will not develop a dead goat syndrome and say that we have seen more demonstrations than ever, and therefore this one has not pushed us. I think that their great minister has met them. Their great minister is putting in measures to ensure
they've actually paid some of them. They've actually paid some of them.
Those people who are asking for backlog and arrears, on the other front, the education minister has met them and assured them that government is ready to play ball. We are not going to develop a dead goat syndrome, and I think that is what is very important to the good people of Ghana.
Honorable, thank you. Let's move to Honorable Ganiu.
Babalo.
Ghana, Portugal signed defense and economic pact. President is currently in Portugal. 3-day state visit. He's advocating that we shift from the days of the export of raw materials and depending on aid and the likes. What's your take on this one?
My good brother.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Afia has just exposed himself big time. I have done a lot over time.
You think so?
And the big people or the good people of Ghanaians know exactly what has transpired over their 7 years of stewardship as managers of this country. He was calling on our manifesto because I realized that they lack ideas. Our people's manifesto is the clear-cut indication of us listening to the people of Ghana. Because you can't get anybody who can listen to the people, allowing themselves to tell you what they want. And that is what can drive the country at large to make sure the Ghana country becomes resilient. He is talking about COVID. Let me advise on that one aspect. The MPP cannot speak on the economic indication without COVID. COVID has happened to all other countries. It is not only Ghana. If you realize, other countries are not complaining like how Ghana is complaining. And Ghana, we have a lot of benefits from even COVID. We got 1 billion from IMF. We got over 500 million from Bank of Ghana, the World Bank. All these things was a push for the country.
But Honorable, I think some of these monies did not directly go into maybe giving out the monies and all that, but into some projects to salvage the situation, like the emergency centers and the likes.
Do you know what 1 billion means? Dr. Muhammad Bawumia said when he was in opposition that the money John Muhammad His Excellency received during his time, if he should have received 1/8 of it, he will build a lot of factories. He is talking about industrialization, my good Mr. Afia.
That's right.
He should mention even one of the factories and another AKUFO-ADDO, which is now in use and in proper management. I have one in my constituency now.
You mean the one district, one factory?
One district, one factory. I have one in my community now.
But you can also dispute the fact that there are others that are also running.
My brother, that's what I'm giving you the note that when you have the time to speak, you should mention one that is in full management. It has employed people. It is under production process. People come and buy and sell. Just one of the factories. My brother, is it that the MPP thinks maybe Ghanaians don't have foresight? He thinks NDC don't have people who can write manifesto. His Excellency the money, Mama, we have our manifesto already. We are not going to have an election.
The NDC has their manifesto.
We have our manifesto. And the manifesto is people's manifesto.
Oh, okay.
When you have a vision in 2020,
I thought you are here to launch your manifestos. I saw it in one of the publications last week.
No, even if we are here to launch our manifesto, the current one we are having is what we are having now.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the current one. If the mama should have won 2020 election.
So it's the same manifesto, right? The same manifesto you drafted for 20. Okay.
You see, most of what we have in the People's Manifesto. So ready, I know.
So between the two parties, the MPP and NDC, who is copying who? Who is the copycat here?
My brother, knowledge is from every cortex.
Okay.
We can't say somebody copies the other.
Okay, so the moment you are thinking about a project, somebody had already had a thought already. That's what you mean, right?
Maybe what we are having or thinking about doing as a project, other countries are also doing. So everybody is entitled to information. It's about the implementation. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
The plans that we have, even in other political parties, whom CPP, what all the plans they have in their manifestos are brilliant. But the issue is the implementation. The FPP gave out a very brilliant manifesto before they won 2016 election.
Thank you very much for acknowledging our manifesto.
You will not acknowledge.
I thought as much.
you know, but ask yourself, how many of the manifesto has been implemented? My good brother, are you with me, Mr.
Yes,
Abia?
I'm here.
Are you
You want me to come in?
How many? You listen and write it down.
Okay, no problem. I'm noting them down.
No, note them down. How many of your manifesto premises has been given a clear-cut measure? Your one village, one dam. His Excellency Dr. Muhammad Bamia, he has run away from the one village, one dam, thinking about digitization now. Holding the dollar. Dr. Muhammad Bamia has forgotten of how to arrange the dollar now. He's thinking about digitization. Is that not it? That is it.
But I think it's one of the drivers of every economy, right? Digitalization.
You know, Dr. Muhammad Bamia promised that he will be putting up 350 secondary schools.
Wow.
Ask Dr. Muhammad Bamia, MPP, and my good friend Mr. Apia, how many secondary schools are they putting up to pushing the economy? You see, there are a lot of loopholes with their manifesto that they said they intended bringing in 2016. But when they came and faced the reality, they put all the blame on COVID. And when you ask them, they will tell you that let's compare the inflation of John Mahama and another AKUFO-ADDO in 2017. You see, this is why I said the NPP has grown a lot of symbol of fallacy, lies. No wonder Dr. Muhammad Bamia has been described by Google as the best person who can lie.
Oh, Google did that. Is it not the NDC?
I'm not saying it. If you type on Google that who is the best person who lies in this country, Dr. Muhammad Bamia's name will pop up.
I thought it's the NDC who tagged him.
You can check it out. My good friend Apia can also check it out. That is why in summary, I said, when we talk about a productive government, the MPP is not a government to call. When we talk about the visionary government, the MPP is not about a party to call. You know, my good friend Apia made mention of when teachers were paid their 3 months salary. My good friend, listen to this and listen very well. I am a good teacher myself. It is very good that the government will bring a policy that immediately you complete from your training college, when you get to work, first 3 months you receive your salary and that is all. And that was the measure the NDC was undertaking. So that we will not have a lockdown of arrears, plenty, that you post teachers because they say their salaries are not out. they will not go to the place of posting. They'll be hanging around until 1 year before they will take their bulk money before they'll start going to school. But immediately you post them within the first 3 months, if their salaries are out and they get to their destination and start teaching, it is good for the country. Have you seen that? This was the policy NDC was driving on. Then the issue of a quota system. Formerly, the training colleges was giving a quota system. But when we were setting up the allowance, we extended it that if a school will take maybe 100 students, when you take out the quota system, they can take over 400 people. So that people who are in the house can be enrolled into schools. My brother, ask some of the training colleges now the number that they are having now. The quota system is back. So people are in the house who completed secondary school, who cannot get a job to go and do. And this was the measure the NDC was bringing on board to make sure that teacher-student ratio will be minimized. If for nothing at all, we knew very well that there have been a persistent problem about teachers. We don't have enough teachers in the classrooms. And we NDC were working towards that to make sure that we avert that situation, so we have enough teachers in our public schools.
So are you against the licensure exam?
Licensure exam, you know that one is excellent. John Mama, I said it clearly. The licensure exams should be incorporated in the schools, whichever training college you are attending. Write it there. Whichever institution you are, write a licensure there. Don't come and sit home 1 year before you be asked to go and write a licensure exam. So before your certificate will come, you write a licensure so that you know that you have a certificate. Simple.
All right, Honorable, you have 2 more minutes.
We don't have one way, somebody going through an institution, getting your certificate, then you are now going to be attested for your licensure. It is a bad practice you are giving to teachers. And it's a growing phenomenon that worries them. It's excellent job the money man when he wins 2024 elections. We are going to cancel that. We are going to review that and make sure we send it back to the schools. And that will help the teachers. Now somebody completed training college who took a whole allowance to complete the training college. It's a government money. They are taking. Now he has not gotten license, he's in the house. So who is the beneficiary? The government has lost. The government has lost. We have lost a huge sum of money. Go to the training colleges, the facilities the student uses over there. The allowances you pay to them. At the end, the people don't get license to even get to some of the schools that we don't have teachers to go and teach the children. It's like, obviously, this poor policy by the MP.
All right, Honorable, thank you very much. Your point is well noted. Honorable Apia, 1 minute if you have any rebuttal.
Oh, I wouldn't say rebuttal. I think that clearly my colleague has shown that he will set his own questions and answer them. You asked him about the fact that His Excellency is in Portugal and has signed the economic and defense partnership with Portugal.
Oh, I know you will not come with anything better. I know.
and for that matter, as a good people of Ghana, how do we look at it? I think that the typical of the NEC, he decided to say that they have the People's Manifesto and their manifesto is ready, and that they are presenting the same manifesto they presented in 2020. I know very well that what he said is not based on information. He's only trying to tell Ghanaians that they have a manifesto, which I know very well they don't have. Yeah. The other day, he decided to talk about school system and the fact that they were paying people 3 months and he feels comfortable about it. How do you allow somebody to teach for 2 years and pay the people 3 months and you say you're comfortable about it? It's only a wicked person who will do that. But the bottom line is that we, as the NPP, we know we have a nation, we have a good people of Ghana to lead, and we will not let anything distract us. Anybody who feels that or any group of people who feel that they can do better than us, It is not about attacking the policies that we have, but it's about bringing alternative policies. It's about telling Ghanaians what they think they need. You don't tell people you want to lead them, you know what they need, and turn around and go to them and say, tell me what you need. That shows that you are incompetent. How do you say you know what I need and come to me and say, tell me your need? You are clueless.
You will never know what they need until you get to them.
Let them know. He was asking.
You will never know what they need until you get to them.
He said our manifesto was fantastic in 2020 and in 2016 as well. So why is he now contesting whether we implemented them or not? He talked about one district, one factory. He talked about 1 million, 1 dam. He talked about digitizing the economy.
He's of the view that
significance of digitizing the economy.
Honorable
I
Apia.
don't know why our loans are expensive. Our loans are expensive because we don't have the data on the people we have in the country. And it makes our loans expensive. So digitizing the economy is one of the best ways to go. And I'm not surprised that the NDC keeps attacking His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, because they know that once we have our national data, they will not be able to bring the Burkinabes, the Beninois, the Malians, and Ivorians to come and vote for them. And for them, everything is about the election and not about the good people of Ghana. We have Ghana to lead. It's about visionary leadership. It's about competence. It's about having the good people putting the good people of Ghana first, and we stop at national.
All right, Honorable, thank you very much. So we'll be discussing next on the agenda. I didn't pay $2 million to fund Accra SkyTrain project. Asks JIIF Gyakye, former Minister of Railways Development. Gyakye has stated that he never paid any money to AI Sky, nor did he authorize the payment of $2 million to fund the failed Accra SkyTrain project. Honorable Apia, I'll start with you since it's coming from home. This is a home issue. Every Ghanaian had that, feel that joy that railway development is really moving faster, and a time is coming where we'll have these railways doing very well to add more to even our economy. And people were even of the view that they are going to park their cars and pick the trains from one location to another, to distant areas. And we remember that during this period, there was this agenda that we'll have to invest in this SkyTrain project. But for whatever reason, we're having issues now about some payments that were made to an amount of $2 million. The then minister insists that he never paid this $2 million. Honorable, I know you are somebody who advocates against corruption and the likes, anti-campaigner, I should say. What's your take on this story?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for knowing my position on the issues of corruption. I have said time and time again that we cannot afford corruption because it is not in our interest. And I think that yesterday, I don't know where the speculations were coming from, but a document has proven that the Honorable Gyakye did not authorize any such payment.
That's right.
And that should be on record. You see, we believe in due diligence. We believe that the right things must be done. We will not go and sort for money and use the money to fund our political or our party activities. We take money and invest them so that it will serve the good people of Ghana. And I'm hoping that one day you will invite me and the NDC to come and discuss the loans that the NPP has contracted and the various projects, itemized projects that we have put the money into.
That's right.
And then we can all know how we believe in value for money, how we believe in probity and accountability than the party that alleges that they are founded on probity and accountability. We do not believe that for you to come and lead the country, it should be NC, no contribution, no job, as alleged by the Honorable Ofosu-Ampon. No. Ghana, if you are coming to lead Ghana, there is work to be done. There is nothing to become. And therefore, we will discourage NC. We will not let anybody contribute because there is nothing to become. There is governance, there's leadership, there's direction to be given. There's hard work to be done. And just like the president said when he was inaugurated in 2017, he said that he knows that the task will be difficult. He knows that the terrain is hard, but he has taken the mantle to lead the good people of Ghana, and he knows that he is in a hurry to start work. So there's work to be done. There's nothing to be stolen. So we will not, and I say this with all sincerity, that we will not give somebody 80% to construct 5,000 housing units in Sagrame. Pay the person 80%. The person comes back will not come back to us and say, the money you have given me and for the contract, we think we cannot do 5,000. We can do 2,000. And then we say, okay, let's revise the terms of the reference. And yet, the person goes ahead to deliver only 600 housing units. Even that is not completed because the facilities that are needed to make it complete have not been done. And yet, people have received 80% payment. It will never happen under the NPP because corruption we cannot afford. And so, on the note of Honorable Gyakye, he has shown that he's a lawyer. He has shown that he believes in probity accountability. He has shown that he has the good people of Ghana at heart. And he has been vindicated by the findings that came out yesterday.
All right. Thank you. Let me go to Honorable Ganiu. Honorable, your take on this story.
Well, I thank you very much for this story. Clearly, indeed, the sum of $2 million, that is an equivalent of 22 million Ghana cedis. That is 24 million Ghana cedis. Was paid to.
Please, what exchange rate are you using?
That's
you can cross check.
Okay.
Oh no, what exchange rate are you using?
Because now no, Honorable Ganiu, I'm coming. Now the exchange rate is not maybe 12 cedis or 11 cedis. I think it's almost 10 cedis or so.
It's 10 cedis. Where the exchange rate varies. It varies from where.
All right, now.
Let me.
Okay, now. Let me check this one. I'm coming. A minute.
I'm just giving a
minute.
No, I'm making
at the time we were
suggesting.
Honorable. It is. I'm coming. $1 is. I'm coming. Honorable, I'm coming. $1 is 11. I'm coming. Honorable Ganiu, I'm coming.
I was only making a suggestion.
I'm coming. Ghana is $1 is 11 CD 39 pesos currently.
Marina, you are not being fair to me. At the time we were checking our facts, $2 million is equivalent to 24 million Ghana cedis.
But now it's 22 786.
Let's hold on to this for now.
All right.
That is when we
see how
we can't continue. Because of consistency, we can't continue to be checking the facts and be correcting the exchange rate as we are running this story.
All right, go ahead.
It is never done.
All right, so let's stick to
the media has